All right. Back at it again. The Moorish Experience. We at it again out here in the Arizona Republic. I am Deputy Sheikh Thomas Muhammad Ill coming to you live from the Arizona Republic. We are going to do another demonstration. Hopefully, we find this demonstration here educational. We're going to have some tangibility. We're going to take our time with it. Not going to get too excited. So, hopefully, you find this information impactful, educational. You may even find it a tad bit entertaining, but it is really to help the Moorish nation rise. Without further ado, let's get the party started. Rising to my highest heights, giving all perfect praise to Allah, the creator of creation. Extending those high honors to all of the great worthies who have come down the line of divine, mainly Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. And knowing something about these four Hebrew Muslims, it allows us to talk to the entire planet, extending those high honors to the man that we are here to discuss today, the illustrious Hebrew prophet, the only man that I know of that brought us our nationality and birthright and keys to our vast estate. I speak of none other than the illustrious Hebrew prophet, the honorable prophet Noble Drew Allah. Okay, so extending those high honors to the man that taught me about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, because I would not know anything about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, what he stood for, his teachings, what this Moorish American National Republic, the Moorish Science Temple Divine and National Movement is all about. I wouldn't know anything about any of that if it were not for our National Grand Sheik Joe Braden Bay, who resides in Baltimore, Maryland. Extending those high honors to all of our officers, our sheiks, our sheikesses, our deputy sheiks, and our deputy sheikesses. That's august body, the grand body that moves our government onward and upward, and hopefully one day into ultimate perfection. Want to extend high honors to, most importantly, to our future, our children. We want to extend Islam's to all of those who may be watching this via the internet on the World Wide Web, whether you're watching it on a social media platform, Facebook, Twitter. Somebody may have sent you a link in your email. You may be watching it on YouTube. We want to extend the greetings of peace. Peace, peace, peace. Islam, Islam, Islam to everyone. All right. Today we are going to take on a subject and we're going to do a demonstration on Act 6. Now you say, well, what is Act 6? For those that don't know, there is the Moorish Constitution and bylaws. I'm going to put those on the screen, and we today are going to demonstrate Act 6 of 7 acts. I hear a lot of people reading Act 6. Uh, I've heard a lot of people read it, a lot of people talking about it, very few people explaining it and giving you comprehension on it. As you may know, if you are seeing this information for the first time, this probably will be very disturbing to you because it is going to fly in the face of what you have been taught. It's going to fly in the face of what is popular. You are not necessarily going to be able to readily go find this information uh, on the surface. This information is not for surface dwellers. You are going to have to dig to find this information. So I went into my library and we dug out some books that we're gonna come out of tonight to help illustrate what Prophet Noble Drew Ali is trying to communicate with us in this Act 6 and these various tiers of law that can be found within Act 6. It is you have to understand what is being communicated. And there is no way that we are going to understand what is being communicated unless we get into a law dictionary and we get into some actual history, some ancient history. Okay? You're not going to be able to Google this information and come up correct. It is not going to work. And this is what I personally feel is a problem within the various Moorish paradigms, because all we can do is read the prophet's literature, but we do not ask ourselves, well, how does this literature apply to me in 2023 and going into the future? If you do not understand how the prophet's literature, talking about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, if you do not understand how his literature applies to you in 2023 going into the future, then the future is not going to be too bright for you. You will take his literature and you will put it on the shelf because you do not comprehend what is actually being communicated with you and for you. You don't understand it. Then we have another issue. We have Moors out here who do understand the prophet's literature, but they're busy making sure that you don't understand how it applies to you. They want you to look at them. So we go to those who may have read one or two more books than we have personally. And we say, well, that brother or that sister over there seems to have some knowledge. I'll tie myself on to them, you see, and maybe I'll buy me a packet because I'm desirous of freedom. I don't want to be bothered. So they seem like they got it. They seem like they know what they're doing. So I'll tie myself on to those individuals and get yourself all messed up because you did not take the time to understand history and law. You didn't take the time. It's too painful of a process for you. So you have to rely on somebody with a little more knowledge than you, instead of you having faith in yourself, faith in Allah, that He would guide you to, a favorable response. So I'm gonna do my best. We're gonna keep it calm on this one here. I always say that, but then it don't never work. Because it is hard for me to stay calm with this knowledge, with this truth, because it is so exciting to me. I become emboldened and enlivened. I become lit when I start discussing the policy of freedom and these acts 1 through 7 of the Moorish Science Temple Constitution and bylaws. You see, we're going to get off into that. We're going to get off into the warning, Prophet's warning, 1928. We're going to get off into Prophet makes plea to the nation. We're going to get off into that too. We're going to get off into the organic constitution. We're going to get off into that. We're going to talk about this new era of time, what it is, when did it come into existence, under what circumstance did it come into existence, why it came into existence. We're going to talk about who we are as Moorish Americans in 2023. We're going to talk about what law makes us citizens today. Citizens, and not only citizens, but citizens of what? Huh? Citizens of what? So this is a demonstration that you are definitely you want to get a paper and pencil. Matter of fact, get you some crayons. Crayons always right. Pens are kind of, they got attitude. Sometimes they right, sometimes they don't. But if you get some crayons, Crayons write all the time. And if you doubt what I'm saying, just watch your children. Mark up all your walls, mess you all up. But anyway, I'm keeping it light because this demonstration, I'm not gonna yell and scream and breathe all that fire because the information is gonna be disturbing enough. Because at the end of this, you're gonna ask yourself, how come I didn't see any of that? They didn't teach you this in school. You didn't learn this in college. I don't care if you have a PhD in education. You have never seen what you are about to see. That don't mean it don't exist. It just means you didn't know. And that's okay. And that's okay. We are ancient people. So there's no way for you to know everything. Okay. So I'm going to do my best, bring my spoke to the wheel and do my demonstration. And we pray a lot of our grand body and our national grand sheet find this demonstration satisfactory. You know, they got a saying in college when you go to college. For those of you who have been to college, especially if you've been to a traditional college with them 200-person classrooms, usually the professor does not teach the class. Hello? The professor does not teach the class when you go to a traditional college. The teacher, the teacher's aide is teaching the class. Okay? Class is in session. I'm going to say that again. Class is in session. I'm not the professor. We're going to bring him on in a few hours. I'm not the professor, but I am the teacher's aide. It's going to become very clear in just a minute. There's a lot of us have the prophet's literature just laying around, and a lot of times we don't pick it up and read it, and we don't meditate on it and think on it. So we really don't understand the importance of it or its impactfulness. We're going to get off into it today. And I'm doing it as a video so that you can stop it, rewind it, go back and forth with it. But my hope is that you grab these books and this literature and you really study it for yourself. Now, there is no way you will make it through this demonstration without a Black's Law Dictionary. Absolutely no way. So please get out the prophet's literature, get out the warning, plea to the nation, get out Acts 1-7, get out a free national constitution, the original constitution, get that out, get the proclamations of President Abraham Lincoln, get those out. You understand? Get your Black's Law Dictionary out, get all that out because you're going to need it. You are going to need it. Yeah, some of this may go right over your head. It's unfortunate. You're just going to have to watch the video again. So let's get the party started. Let me share my screen. And let's see what I want to get off into first. Well, since the subject is Acts 6, I guess we better start there with what it is and what it ain't. So hopefully your screen has changed. Now, this is the subject right here. This is Acts 6. This is 6 of 7 Acts. Now, this here, listen to me good, Mose. Listen to me good. This here is the John 3:16 of the Bible. You say, what? That don't make no sense. Yeah, just bear with me 1 minute. Indulge me for just a minute. If you are a Christian, that means you believe in the Bible. If you cannot close the deal with John 3:16 of the Bible, God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, Jesus, and everybody believe in him shall not perish, they shall have eternal life. Y'all know what it is. Some of y'all grew up with this. If you as a Christian cannot close the deal with John 3:16, you just out of luck. That's the go-to right there. That's the end all be all. Now, what does that got to do with Acts 6? I'm gonna show you. If you are a Moorish American, if you are Moor, if you know of any Moors, they always, always, always tell you about Act 6. They always tell you about it. I don't care what Moorish paradigm it is. We all read the same Act 6. I just told you this is 6 of 7 acts. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slaves by the slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Every Moorish paradigm in the United States and outside of the United States reads this just the way I read it. But you would be hard pressed on YouTube, hard pressed on Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it, Facebook, you will be hard pressed to find me a Moor that can explain every tier of law in this act. You'd be hard pressed. And make it make sense. And then tie it to 2023. How does it apply to Asiatics? How does it apply to Europeans? What? It don't apply to Europeans. Yes, it do. See, right there. We got the first emotional response. No, it don't. Yes, it do. Don't worry. Just hang with me during the demonstration. We're going to read this act so many times tonight that I'm going to come at this several different ways, and I'm going to do repetition so that it drives deep into your psyche. You understand? I'm going to let you into Deputy Sheik Thomas Muhammad's world today. This how I study. So we just going to have a study set, but the camera going to be rolling. And I'm going to show you how I do it. Now, you see how many tabs I got opened up? I'm going to hit every one of them tabs today. Every one of them. One way or another. So, like I said in my last demonstration, I believe last couple of demonstrations, let's kick off over here for a minute. Let's get back over here. So, Moors are men upright, independent, and fearless, who care for their loved ones and follow the prophet to a destiny which is not uncertain nor unknown. Look who the author of that is. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Nationality will not cure anything. It will not get you out of trouble. Your mind, the way you think, and the way you handle your affairs is your salvation. Aha. Nationality will not cure anything. Let me back up. Let me do it like this. Proclaiming your nationality will not cure anything. It will not get you out of trouble. Your mind, the way you think, and the way you handle your affairs is your salvation. Your mind, not the brothers and sisters that you are seeing on YouTube. Not their mind, your mind. The way you think, not the way they think, not their interpretation of the information of what the prophet said. That ain't where it's at. It's the way you think and the way you handle your affairs. Stop letting people handle your business for you. You that like to buy paperwork packets. No, no, no. The way you handle your affairs. What? Your lifestyle. Not what you say in the temple, how you actually live outside the temple. That's the real you. The sum total of your thoughts. Run that out and tell me who you are you a Moorish American? I don't know. We gonna see. Okay. That's your only salvation. You feel me? That's your only salvation. Let's keep it moving. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. Despite popular opinion, most of society today unknowingly volunteers for their modern legalized enslavement, largely in part due to miseducation and social engineering institutions that are trusted by the people. There are a group of Moors, male and female Moors and Moabitises, who are on YouTube and they are instructing our people in a most destructive manner. We're going to deal with that today. I'm not going to attack you personally. I'm just going to put a demonstration in the public at the end of this that is going to make what you are teaching the people look like fantastic foolishness. I'm just saying. If I may be so bold, you'll understand by the end of this. The accumulation of subtle encroachments upon the liberties of the people is compounded when the people don't know their rights. And logically, if you don't know your rights, you, number one, don't have any. And number two, can't recognize when you are being violated. Number three, you are highly susceptible to blindly believe any misinformation governing opportunists tell you. Despite the corruption that exists, the blatant disregard for people, and despite the perceived unfairness of the United States government, it is still the responsibility of the people to change their conditions. Learn the Constitution of both federal and state and enforce it. Period. Let's say that again. Let's run that back again. Despite the corruption that exists, the blatant disregard for people, and despite the perceived unfairness of the United States government, it is still the responsibility of the people to change their conditions. Learn the Constitution of both federal and state and enforce it. Let's move on. Let's go back to our subject. Now, I'm going to approach this in an academic way. It's a lot of words up here, but there is no way to understand, comprehend what is being communicated with us if we do not understand the laws of grammar, because this is English. Okay, so we got to understand the laws of grammar so we can understand what is being communicated. See, them commas are put there for a reason. Things are underlined for a reason. So we have to start looking words up, especially when attention is being drawn to words. There are certain words that are capitalized. What does that mean? What does it mean when you capitalize a word? Okay, we got nouns on here. We got adjectives on here, things you must do. Okay. Other things are just stated. Then we got a reference to history. So we got to go back and get some history. Hence why we have a school of law and history. And is a conjunction. That means what you see in front of and what you see behind the word and go together, like peanut butter and jelly. Just got to keep y'all entertained because this is gonna get heavy. This is gonna get heavy. So we have a school of law and history, like the more divine and national movement. Divine and national go together. Let's go. Let's get at it. So let's start slow. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. Stop right there. What? Proclaim their nationality. What if you don't know what a nationality is? What about that? If you don't know what a nationality is, then it would be near impossible for you to proclaim what you don't know. Hmm? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So let's take a trip down memory lane. Let's take a trip down memory lane because we first must understand what has happened so that we know where we're going. And first, we got to understand how we got here presently, how we got in this condition, what is the condition, and then most importantly, how do we get out of the condition? By what process do we use? That's what we're going to be dealing with tonight, but we're going to tie it all in to Acts 6. So with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. Stop right there. So I have a little book in my hand. I wish I had it electronic so y'all could see it. I have a book in my hand called What Your History Books Fail to Tell You by Hazim Hopkins Bey. What Your History Books Fail to Tell You by Hazim Hopkins Bey. You should purchase several copies of our Sheik's book. Several copies. It's most impactful. So I was watching I don't even want to call it a demonstration. It really was so disrespectful. The brother was going off. Brother Cujo, if you watching this, I'll be dealing with you in the next 48 hours. I'm gonna be in a whole nother mind. I'm gonna be in a whole nother mindset in 48 hours. I'm coming directly at you. But anywho, that's 48 hours from now. But today, we dealing with Acts 6, What Your History Books Fail to Tell You by Hazim Hopkins Bey. Pick this book up. So in his book, he's quoting in our Moorish 101, Moorish Questionnaire 101, number 85, states, name some of the marks that were put on the Moors of the Northwest by the European nations in 1774. The answer states Negro, black, colored, and Ethiopian. You also see those marks in Acts 6. So again, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. So let's get off into what a nationality is. That would make sense, right? Let us define our term. So let's see if I can get some lawful. Oh, let's go to must first. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. So look at the lawful definition of must. See, this word, like the word shall, is primarily of mandatory effect. Mandatory. Wait a minute. But this meaning of the word is not the only one, and it is often used in a merely directory sense, and consequently is a synonym for the word may, not only in the permissive sense of that word, but also in the mandatory sense, which it sometimes has. So with us, all members must proclaim their must proclaim their nationality. It's mandatory, brother and sister. Why is that necessary? Why is it mandatory that you proclaim your nationality? Let's talk about it. Okay. So now let's get at it. Through identifying with these slave marks of Negro, black, colored, and Ethiopia, the Moors, after many generations, forgot the true national name of their forefathers, therefore cutting themselves off from being a nation of people and the illustrious history of their forefathers. The beginning of this historical event occurred September the 5th, 1774, in the state of Pennsylvania, in the city of Philadelphia, for the first capital of the United States of America. Said another way, U period S period A period. We're gonna be going through that all night. Okay, so let's get back at it over here. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. It is mandatory. Why? Because we are clinging to marks that allude to slavery. Now you say, well, wait a minute, I ain't never heard that before. I ain't never seen that before. My point exactly. The best way to enslave you is to enslave you and get you to participate. That's the best way to do it. I mean, when you think about it, that's the best kind of slavery. To make you think you're free when you actually are a slave. Wow, they got you for life. Everything that comes from you, your children, they will follow the same mindset that you had. So with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. Must proclaim. Mandatory that you proclaim. So now that we know it's mandatory, what does proclaim mean? And you notice in Acts 6, it must be something to that word, because that particular word, proclaim, is underlined. Prophet Noble Drew Ali is drawing specific attention to that word, proclaim. So let's see if we can get a lawful definition for the word proclaim. Let's see if that'll work. How about this here? To promulgate, to announce, to publish by governmental authority. Intelligence of public acts or transactions or other matters important to be known by the people, to give wide publicity to disclose. Then if you look right underneath that, you see proclamation. We're going to get into some proclamations tonight as well. The act of publicly proclaiming or publishing a formal declaration, an avowal. Okay. The act of causing some governmental matters to be published or made generally known. Back to proclaim, to promulgate, to announce, to publish by governmental authority. Intelligence of public acts or transactions or other matters important to be known by the people. With us, all members must mandatory proclaim, publish by governmental authority, to be publicly known. To give publicity to disclose, to proclaim your nationality. Let's get back at it. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality. So what is your nationality? Because in the root word of nationality is nation. The Moorish nation. What is your nationality? What is your free national name? What is your descent nature? Man's descent nature does not change. man's descent nature does not change. So if you are Chinese, you can pick up and move to the island of Samoa. You are still Chinese. Your man's descent nature does not change. I don't care where you go. If you are of European descent and you leave Great Britain and you come to the Americas, North, South, Central, and the surrounding islands, which is a continent, you are still of European descent. Your descent nature does not change. Putting it out there. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. You must make it known. It is mandatory that you make it known, widely spread with governmental authority. Your nationality. So, since that's the word of the day, yeah, let's see. Since the Moles like to say that's the nationality is the order of the day, that's what we like to say. Let's see what it is. That quality or character which arises from the fact of a person belonging to a nation or state. Nationality determines the political status of an individual, especially with reference to allegiance, while domicile determines his civil status. Nationality arises either by birth or by naturalization. Nationality, that quality or character which arises from the fact of a person belonging to a nation or state. Well, what happens if your nationality has been stripped? What nation state do you belong to then? With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know, that they must know, that they must know that they are not, Negroes, black, colors, Ethiopians, etc. And today, African Americans. These are marks that delude to slavery. Get out your feelings. They were put upon us in 1774. And we accepted the brands, accepted the marks, accepted the misnomers, accepted the names in 1779. Nationality, that quality of character which arises from the fact of a person belonging to a nation state. What makes you a citizen of any nation? What laws make you a citizen of any nation? We're going to get into it. And it is your nationality that determines your political status. What if you don't have a nationality on the record, widely known, publicly known by governmental authority? What happens then? What is the status? What is the political status of those individuals? Because domicile determines your civil status. And it says nationality arises either by birth or naturalization. So, naturalization is the process that one must go through in order to obtain nationality after birth. I hope this is making sense. I hope this is making sense. Hopefully. All right. So now let's get at it. Let me get over here to naturalization for just a minute. Naturalization, the process by which a person acquires nationality after birth. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. The process by which a person acquires nationality after birth and becomes entitled to the privileges of citizenship. That's interesting. That's going to take on special meaning here in just a minute. So again, let's keep it going. Let's keep the party moving. Let's keep the party moving. So with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. Let me double check something real quick. Okay, cool. So with us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slave by the slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. So we've proclaiming our nationality. It's a must. It's mandatory that you make your nationality publicly known, widely spread by governmental authority. Your nationality ties you to a nation state. Okay. And the way you acquire nationality is by going through a process of naturalization, which entitles you to the rights and privileges of citizenship. That process by which one acquires nationality after birth process. I'm talking about the naturalization process. Okay. Now, we talked about proclaim, we talked about nationality, and now we're talking about the naturalization. Now, here's where the confusion comes in. Many of you think, I'm talking directly to Moors now, I don't care what paradigm you in. Many of you think that our National Grand Sheik Joe Braden Bey, who resides in Baltimore, has lost his mind because we are, if not the only Moorish paradigm that naturalizes our people. You actually think that we are naturalizing our people into the United States. Now, I need you to stop it. I need you to stop it. Because it's one thing to go into a Black's Law dictionary and read the definition of naturalization just as I just did. But you should look at what you see. Look at what you see. The process by which a person acquires nationality after birth and becomes entitled to the privileges of citizenship. It didn't say U.S. citizenship. It said citizenship. So the question you should ask yourself is, citizen of what? Or do you think in your mind, all I have to do is get me a nationality card, go to the temple, get a nationality card. Yay, I proclaim my nationality because that's what Prophet Noble Ali told me to do. You got your nationality card, you got some paperwork that was written in Latin. You went and took that down to the courthouse. You filed it with the clerk of the court, and you think you good? Great. So now the only people that know you done made this change is the people inside the temple with you. What about the rest of society? What about that? Did you make the change on your job? Did you make your change at the IRS, the Internal Revenue Service? Are you still paying taxes? Subject for another time. Did a demonstration on that already. Did you make the change at the United Nations? Did you make the change at the Social Security Administration? Hmm? Did you make the change at the Department of Motor Vehicles? Huh? What about the Treasury Department? Did you make any changes there? Huh? Did you make any changes at the state level? Did you become a state citizen? I'm asking some questions because these are some questions that you better have some answers to. And you better be able to go back and fact check that information, not run your mouth. But what I want to draw your attention to is this 8 USCA section. That little funny symbol there stands for section 1101. 8 United States Code, section 1101. Now, think about it. I'm not a big code man. I'm not a big United States Code man. I like common law. That's what we deal with over here in this Moorish paradigm under the leadership of National Grand Sheikh Joel Braden Bey. We're going to get into that a little later on. That's what we deal with. We deal with common law. We don't really deal with statutory law. Anytime we bring statutory law to the table, it is only for illustrative purposes, okay? It is only to illustrate, hey, this is what's going on. So that's when we bring it to the table. But what I would like to do is, if I can find it, I know I got it up here somewhere. I'm praying, I'm looking for it right now. I want to find what I'm looking for so I can deal with this effectively. I think I got it right here. Oh boy. Oh boy. See what that says? 8 USC section 1101 US Code annotated Title 8 Aliens and Nationality. Aliens and nationality. See? As used in this chapter, the term administrator means the official designated by the Secretary of State pursuant to Section 1104 of this title. The term advocates include, but not limited to, advises, recommends, furthers by overt act, and admits belief in. Pay attention to the next statement. Point number 3. The term advocate includes, point number 3. The term alien means any person not a citizen or national of the United States. What? Oh my God. Wait a minute. The term alien means any person not a citizen or national of the United States. Why would that right there be in the lawful definition of naturalization? Huh? What? The process by which a person acquires nationality after birth and becomes entitled to the privileges of citizenship. Citizenship of what and whom? Who are these people who need to naturalize? Persons who have lost their nationality. We are not naturalizing our people into the United States. The term alien means any person not a citizen or national of the United States. See, the problem with you Moors, and I'm speaking to every Moorish paradigm out here. The problem with you Moors is you do not understand the prophet's literature unless it specifically spells out everything to you. You have difficulty in connecting the dots. You have difficulty in playing follow the leader. The circumstance under which Prophet Noble Drew Ali found himself and the circumstance in which we find ourselves today are two very different realities. Please understand that. Please understand that. We're going to get into that a little further. But I just wanted to I'm laying the backdrop. I'm laying the backdrop. So let's go back to Acts 6 one more again. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality. And again, what is this nationality? Let's get off into it. Wait, I find it. Here it is. Nationality, quality, or character which arises from the fact of a person belonging to a nation. Many of you believe you are citizens of the country in which you presently reside. What law makes you a citizen? Go ahead. Tell me. What law makes you a citizen? I don't care if you believe you're a citizen of the United States. What law makes you a citizen of the United States? I'm not a citizen of the United States, brother. I'm a citizen of the Moorish American movement. What law makes you a citizen of that? Come on with it. Huh? What law? Show it to me in the prophet's literature. What law did Prophet Noble Drew Ali told you to use? Which one? Show it to me. Point it out. Get all the prophet's literature together and point out to me what law did Prophet Noble Drew Ali tell you to use? What law did he tell you makes you a citizen? Go ahead, I'll wait. I'll give you a few minutes. Somebody cue up my Jeopardy music. You can't tell me, can you? See, a lot of knowledge out here. Got a lot of knowledge. But with all our knowledge, all I get the understanding for it is the principal thing. Get the understanding. Get the comprehension. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we're teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed. We're not going to waste too much time on divine creed because your divine creed is Islam. Christianity was brought to these shores by the European. Christianity was given to the European for their earthly salvation. Since y'all want to quote Prophet Noble Drew Ali's literature, let's deal with it. Christianity was brought to these shores. This whole Western Hemisphere was being governed by the great law of peace, or said another way, the great law of Islam. See, we got to understand the science. This is Moorish science. We deal with political science on this thread. Okay, let's keep it moving. With us, all members must proclaim, make widely known, publicly known by governmental authority, their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality. If you knew what it was, nobody would have to teach it to you. There's nobody teaching the Chinese that they're Chinese. What's wrong with you? Okay? And they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government. Wait a minute. What? That they must know, mandatory, that they know that they are part and parcel of this said government. So let's go after that. But before we get there, let's get a little more history lesson out of this book, what your history books fail to tell you, by Hazim Hopkins Bey. On September the 5th, 1774, say what? On September the 5th, 1774. Stop right there. On September the 5th, 1774. You thought we just pulled that date out of history? Hold on, let me show you something. Let me get to it. We're going to hit this point twice because I like the way this comes together. Hold on, let me find what I'm looking for. Because see, in the year 1774, that takes you back to the Articles of Association. Did you Moors know that? You Moors that are outside of the leadership of National Grand Sheikh Joel Bratton Bey, you Moors that decided y'all wanted to go online and trash our good noble brother, with your half understanding. Huh? Were you aware that in 1774 that there were the Articles of Association? I'm gonna find it because I want you to understand that we didn't just pull this date out of history. I got so much up here, boy, this don't make no sense. This don't make no sense. But every one of these, I'm gonna hit every one of these tabs one way or another. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna find it. Hold on. I'm gonna get to it. There we go. We getting to it. Let me get over here. Okay, we got definitions. And if it's not, I'm gonna pull it up. I think I'm gonna have to pull it up. I'm trying not to disturb. I got these set at a certain place. I'm trying not to disturb any of them. I'm gonna have to put there. Nope. Nope. Let me see. Nope. Not there. Okay. Look like I'm gonna have to pull it up. No problem. I'll do it. Because I want you to understand that. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it right here. I want you to understand that this is serious business. And this is called Connect the Dot. We're gonna come right back to this. Hold on just a second. Let me get this situated real quick for y'all. Bear with me 1 second. Because there it is. Bang. See what this says? Let me read it. Let me read it to you again. On September the 5th, 1774, the Moors were a divided and defeated nation here in North America. Stop right there. So we were a nation in North America in 1774, which would mean we had a constitution and a governing body in 1774. And we brought the Europeans into our house in 1774. The Europeans had to associate themselves with the Moors for 2 years lawfully. October the 20th, 1774, the Articles hint of Association. The Europeans are associating themselves for 2 years with the Moors before they did the formal Declaration of Independence and broke off from the British Crown. Is it making sense? We, His Majesty's most loyal subjects, His most loyal subjects. You know, you've heard of subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. Well, we, His Majesty's most loyal subjects, mean they were still subjects under the British Crown at this time. We, His Majesty's most loyal subjects, the delegates of the several colonies of New Hampshire, Massachusetts Bay, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, the 3 Lord counties of Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex on Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, deputed to represent them in a continental Congress held in the city of Philadelphia on the 5th day of September 1774, avowing our allegiance to His Majesty. Stop right there. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We, His Majesty's most loyal subjects, the delegates of the several colonies of New Hampshire, Massachusetts Bay, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, the 3 Lord counties of Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex on Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, deputed to represent them in a continental Congress held in the city of Philadelphia on the 5th day of September 1774. On September the 5th, 1774, the Moors were a divided and defeated nation here in North America. On that day, the 13 European colonies or nations met in Philadelphia in a building known as Carpenter's Hall. The 13 independent nations. They were independent of each other. Well, let's see. Who were they? New Hampshire, Massachusetts Bay, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, the three lower counties of Newcastle, Kent, and Sussex on Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, 13 deputed to represent them in a Continental Congress held in the city of Philadelphia on the 5th day of September 1774. I get it. Is it starting to make sense now? Is it starting to make sense now? And if it don't, it will in just a minute. Because I'm not going to leave it alone. I'm going to come at this so many different ways. You ain't going to have no room at all to get out from up under it. That's all right. Let me find something else I'm looking for. Hold on. I'll find it. I know I got it up here. I deliberately put, there it is. Boom. I deliberately put this up here. 14 presidents before George Washington. Hold on. Let me show you where this is at so y'all understand. Let me give credit where credit is due. Do you see this? Does this look familiar? Moors, hello? All you Moors that are in these various Moorish paradigms. Hello? Hello, are you teaching like this? The Continental Congress was the early form of government of the U period, S period, A period. That is exactly how you read what you see. The U period, S period, A period. What is that? What is that? That is prior to the United States. The Continental Congress was the early form of government of the U period, S period, A period for 16 years. What? From 1774 at the Articles of Association through 1789 when George Washington took office. It was made up of 55 representatives, 35 Moors, and 20 European sons. 35 Moors and 20 European sons from the original 13 states that I just aforementioned. The Continental Congress first came together to protest certain measures of the British Parliament. Articles of Association, 1774, October the 20th. We must associate ourselves lawfully with the Moors for 2 years before a formal declaration is made. The Continental Congress first came together to protest certain measures of the British Parliament. It also urged the colonists to arm themselves in defense of the rights. Before this meeting closed, the delegates agreed to meet a second time. By the time the second meeting was held, the American Revolutionary War had started. You know, the American Revolutionary War, July the 4th, 1776. Declaration of Independence. These 35 Moors stem from 5 of the 13 states: New Hampshire, Massachusetts, New York, New Jersey, and North Carolina. See Judge Charles Curtis, dissenting opinion versus Justice Taney concerning the Dred Scott decision. The United States of America, the U period, S period, A period, did not have an official written government until the Articles of Confederation was signed in 1781, which was right before it won its independence from Britain. Stop right there. Let's go. Let's continue. Let's continue the main story. So now let's read it again. On September the 5th, 1774, the Moors were a divided and defeated nation here in North America. On that day, the 13 European colonies or nations met in Philadelphia in a building known as Carpenter's Hall. Stop right there. A building known as Carpenter's Hall. Try that on for size. Try that. Try that. A building known as Carpenter's Hall. Try that. Try that right there. That's Carpenter's Hall, people. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. That's Carpenter's Hall. Huh? Are you starting to get it? It's a real place. It's a real place. I just wanted to put it out there so you could see it. So you can't feign ignorance and be like, I don't know what that brother talking about. He ain't never said that to me. I ain't never seen it. I ain't never been there. Well, now you've seen it. Take a trip to Philadelphia and you can see it. It's still standing. Now, it was a Masonic convention. Masonic is defined as pertaining to or characteristics of Freemasons or Freemasonry. Secret society with secret passwords, handshakes, and secret ceremonies with meanings only known to their members and secret signals. The meeting or convention was originally called the Odd Fellows Convention. The popular name of this convention, according to the European history books, became known as the First Continental Congress. Do you see it on your screen? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And George Washington was elected chairman of the convention. In Masonic terms, he was elected the Grand Master. Two of the main issues which were discussed and debated were, number one, how were the 13 colonies going to form a united front against King George III of England? Number two, how were the 13 colonies going to justify the institution of perpetual slavery of the Moors, of the Moorish inhabitants? Moorish inhabitants. Moorish inhabitants. Inhabitants mean the permanent occupants of the land in which the United States has been established along the 3630-degree parallel. Aha. Let's continue. Come on, let's talk about it. Number one, how were the 13 colonies going to form a united front against King George III of England? And number two, how are we going to institute the perpetual slavery of the Moorish inhabitants, the permanent occupants of the land in which the United States has been established? How are we going to? These are the two main points that they were discussing at this First Continental Congress, of which the Moors, people that look like you and I, were in the majority. So let me get this straight. The Moors had an empire east and west. The Moors engaged in an extensive slave trade of all people, all nationalities. The Moors in the east engaged with a slave trade with the Moors of the west, east of the Atlantic, west of the Atlantic. The Moors over here in the west had a union. They had a government running, and the Europeans saw this government that was running, being governed by the Great Law of Peace. And they said, we would like to become a part of this because we're not getting too much justice over here under the British crown. So George Washington petitioned the Sultan of Morocco for 10 years. George Washington, Thomas Barclay, and the boys. Thomas Jefferson and the boys petitioned the Sultan of Morocco for 10 years. And he finally said yes. And they went through this lawful process. They formed these continental congresses. And this was the early form of government for the U period, S period, A period. 16 years from 1774, the Articles of Association, to 1789, right when George Washington took office. I'm sorry, right before he took office, because George Washington took office in 1790. Are you following the story? Now, that being said, are you getting it? Are you getting it? I want you to understand that people that look like you and I were the original slaveholders. We did not want to let our slaves go. Slaves back in the 1700s, 1600s, 1500s, 1400s. Slavery back then of human cargo is what oil is to the world economy today. Slavery back in the 1450s and 1600s is what oil is to the world economy today. This is what it is. Now, Moors, we're going to have to get it together. You want to talk about the evils of the Europeans, the pale-skinned European. You want to talk about the evil of the pale-skinned European, but you don't want to deal with your own crap. And this was on full tilt so much that we had to put an 1808 clause in the Free National Constitution to penalize these people for importing slaves past a certain date. It was on full tilt. These 35 Moors were slaveholders. I say these 35 Moors were slaveholders. They didn't want to let their slaves go. So they allowed the nationality of the Moors to be stripped. White folk didn't do this to you. Now, I know that might be a hard pill for you to swallow, but it's no different. Let me give it to you in modern terms how it would look in 2023. It would be like you going on YouTube today and you would see some brothers that got on fezzes just like I do, and they would be advocating, look, it's not driving, brother and sister, it's traveling. What you need to do is come over here and get your nationality card, proclaim your nationality, get this paperwork in which you cannot read because you don't speak Latin. And they say, all you need to do is take it down there and put it on the court. Just file it in the court. And man, you got your nationality. Boo, you under the jurisdiction authority of our illustrious Hebrew prophet Noble Drew Ali. That's right. And the white folk ain't got no jurisdiction on us because it's our land. Now that sounds real good because you don't have no contextual conception of what's happening. You don't have the historical context. So you have no idea what you're doing. You're listening to one of Pharaoh's magicians. That looked real good until somebody named Moses and Aaron show up. And then you wonder what you're doing. Now they done sold you a packet for thousands of dollars. Brother, it's paper. Brother and sister, it's paper. Hell, a leaf of paper only gonna cost you $20. That's for a whole leaf. A leaf is like this. That's gonna cost you $20. Office Depot, Office Max. A leaf. These people give you maybe 5, 6, 7 sheets of paper, charge you thousands of dollars for this paperwork because you busy trying to get out of something that you done created for yourself. Some madness you done got into, and you trying to get out of it. White folks is on your case. You filed this paperwork only to find out that it don't work because it's just paper. Brother, you can file all the paperwork you want. Hell, you can take out paperwork and file it. Don't mean nothing if you don't know how to enforce it. What did Prophet Noble Drew Ali tell you? You must enforce the law to save the nation, but you have to know what laws to enforce. And then you would have to know how said laws apply to you. You would have to know when and where to enforce them. under what circumstances to enforce them. They ain't tell you that when you got your packet, did it? They ain't tell you none of that. But you got your packet and you spent a lot of good money to do it. And now all of a sudden, with all this good money that you spent, when you really need some help, the phone is off. Doo-doo-doo. Now you're leaving voicemails. Nobody's returning your calls. What's that all about? What's that all about? Now you stuck because you ain't got no time to go through a demonstration like what I'm doing. You ain't got no time for that. See, you want instant. You want it microwavable. Give it to me instant. I ain't got time to be studying no books and classes and law. I ain't got time for all that. And then those of you that do study, you study statutory law that don't apply to natural persons. Sorry about that. I'm going to prove that point tonight too. So back to our subject. The Articles of Association. This is where we left off. 1774. See? These are when the brands were put upon us. Negro, black, colored, Ethiopian, etc., etc. You understand? These are when the brands were put upon us. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government. What? So you mean to tell me the Moors had a government running prior to 1774? The Europeans, seeing this government running, they said, we want to be a part of that. They associate themselves with the Moors for 2 years lawfully, 1774. At the same time, the nationality of the Moors is being stripped, which means they are being deprived of their divine rights. Why? Because now they are clinging to names and principles that delude to slavery. They are clinging to misnomers. This is what is actually happening to them. Were you aware of that? I don't know. So we're going to get off into that too. So let's see if we can get a lawful definition for misnomer. Let me see. I'm going to try to find one here. Is it right here? No. I got to find it. Bear with me 1 second. Got so much. But I'm going to take my time. I don't care how much I got up here. I'm going to go through it all. And then I'm going to just repeat it back to you so it'll make sense. Okay, let me get misnomer. Hold on. Misnomer is a name that is applied that does not properly identify the thing that you are looking at. Okay, let me get it. Hold on. I'm gonna find it. Bear with me here 1 second. I promise you I had all this together. But what happens in demonstration like this, you got so much up here. I'm gonna come back to George in just a minute. But anyway, misnomer, that which is not properly describing what you're looking at. So the brands, that's what I'm talking about. The brands of Negro, black, colored, Ethiopian, etc. And today, African American. That's not who we are. You can't be from 2 continents. It's impossible. And if that is possible, if you think that's possible, find me another people anywhere on the planet that are identified by 2 continents, not 2 countries, 2 continents. Find me somebody. Anybody. This is how far off the mark we are. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we're teaching our people, their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government. What do you mean part and parcel? What do you mean part and parcel of this said government? Part and parcel. Let's go back over here to our law dictionary. Let's see if I can pull this up. Nope, got naturalization. Is part and parcel in here somewhere? Nope. Oh, I got said, so part and parcel must be close. There's recognized. We're going to get all that in just a minute. Boom. Come on now, I got to get it. Okay. Part and parcel. Pull it off the top of the dome. You're a part of something that's bigger. You follow me? So if you are part and parcel of this said government, then you are a part of that which is bigger. See? You are part of what? The union. You are a part of the union. Is it making sense? You are part and parcel of said government. Why did I say said? Because said in law means that which was made before. So what was before what you presently have now? Huh? What was before what you presently have now? Because that's what said means in law. I told you you're not going to get through this demonstration without a law dictionary. So now, said government. Well, okay. What did we have before? We had a republic, which is perpetual. U period, S period, A period. Republican form of government. Article 4, Section 4 of the Free National Constitution, or Article 4, Section 4 of the original Constitution for America. It states all states shall be governed by a Republican form of government. Today, you have a democracy. They don't even talk republic. They don't even talk it. They talk about the democracy. We got to spread democracy all over the planet. Democracy. Demon rule. Democracy. We got to spread democracy all over the planet, they say. The United States is going in every nation say we need you to accept democracy. But that ain't what the founding fathers set up. 35 Moorish chieftains, 20 European sons set up a republic. They had a republic for which it stands. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, the U period, S period, A period, and to the republic, and to the republic, and to the republic for which it stands. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for white. 35 white men, Moorish chieftains, and 20 European sons, white men. White is a status. It's not pigmentation of skin, it's a status. You are currently operating in a color caste system, so you must understand the rules so you know how to play to win. Let's keep it moving. All right. So now you are part and parcel of this said government. Okay, taking you back to the Union, taking you back to 1774, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, and black people. Because remember, those brands, those names, those slave marks, you see, those misnomers, okay, were put upon us in 1774, and we accepted the brands. We accepted the brands in 1779. These names were given to the slaves by the slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. Prophet Noble Drew Ali did not say that it ended. It said it lasted. It just changed forms, brother and sister. We're going to get into that. In 1865. What happened in 1865? Woo, here we go. What happened in 1865? Why don't you Moors explain to the people what happened in 1865? I don't want to hear nothing about, well, it was the Civil War, brother. No, explain it. What happened? And how did we come out of it? Because this 1865, according to Act 6, during the time of slavery. And then there's a comma right there, which means now we're going to change thought. See, with us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality. That's fair. In their divine creed, Islam, that they must know that they are part and parcel, a part of that which was bigger, the Union, of said government, the Republic, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these are marks placed upon us by the slaveholders in 1779. And this lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery, at the conclusion of the Civil War. So something had to happen in the year 1865 to end the slave marks and slavery. What was it? What was it? Let's get into it. Let's get into it. Were you aware that in 1865 there was the conclusion of the Civil War, and that President Abraham Lincoln, the Melungeon president that many of you say did absolutely nothing for our people? You should never move your mouth to say such ignorance. You really shouldn't. So, since you don't know, and since you think our national grand sheik has lost his mind there in Baltimore because the environment is a little hostile around this time of year, starting to get cold, and you may think that he's losing it a little bit, he might be a little touched. I decided to take on these proclamations for you. Proclamation. But before we go there, remember we was talking about widely known, publicly known, to make known proclamation. Remember proclaim? That was actually proclaimed. But then I said, no. Before we go to proclaim, let's talk about proclamation. Remember that right there. See that? Proclamation. The act of publicly proclaiming or publishing a formal declaration, an avowal. The act of causing some governmental matters to be published or made generally known. A written or printed document in which are contained such matters issued by proper authority, usually by a high governmental executive, president, governor, mayor. Oh my goodness. A proclamation. Now it's starting to take on new meaning, right? You're like, I ain't never looked at it like that. I know you haven't. That's why we're dealing with this now. Because if we don't understand what President Abraham Lincoln did for us, we will just keep running around with the common narrative like, well, he ended involuntary servitude and that's all he did. And such is not the case. So let me get back to it. As soon as I find it, bear with me. Here we go. Bang. So now let's talk about these proclamations. It's really a proclamation that is broken down into four parts, starting with the initial Emancipation Proclamation, September the 22nd, 1862. So let's take a look at it, because in Act 6, it says slavery lasted until 1865. So this is 1862 leading up to 1865. So you see, Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States of America. You mean the U period, S period, A period? You mean that? Okay. And Commander-in-Chief of the Army and Navy thereof do hereby proclaim. Woo! Proclaim. You mean make widely known through governmental authority, and declare that hereafter, as heretofore, the war will be prosecuted for the object of practically restoring the constitutional relation between the United States and each other states and the people thereof, in which states that relation is or may be suspended or disturbed. See, this was the beginning of the Civil War. See, because the states, they wanted states' rights, and we had a group of people like, nah, slavery is right, slavery is just. We don't want to give up our slaves, because we got this slavery thing on tilt. We're making a lot of money. And President Abraham Lincoln is like, look, we got a group of people, their nationality has been stripped. This has been going on since 1779. Okay, we gotta get this back right and bring these people under the constitutional fold of government. get them back under the Union, etc., etc. Because President Abraham Lincoln obviously understood that there was, in fact, a Union prior to the European getting here. Anyway, that is my purpose upon the next meeting of Congress. So he's telling you it's going to be another meeting. That is my purpose upon the next meeting of Congress to again recommend the adoption of a practical measure tendering pecuniary aid to the free acceptance or rejection of all slave states. Some of the states had slaves, some of the states did not. Pecuniary means monetary aid, the free acceptance or rejection of all slave states. So-called. Notice how he put that. So-called. The people whereof may not then be in rebellion against the United States, and which states may then have voluntarily adopted or thereafter may voluntarily adopt immediate or gradual abolishment of slavery within their respective limits, and that the effort to colonize persons of African descent with their consent upon this continent or elsewhere. So President Lincoln, understanding the history, understanding the nature of the two people involved, the pale-skinned European and the Asiatics, he understood there is no way for these two people to get along in peace, because the nature of the pale-skinned European is to rule everything. He's just made that way, brother and sister. He can't help himself. You're not going to change their mentality. You're not going to change the nature of things. What do I mean, the nature of things? Dogs. When you look at the nature of the dog, I don't care if it's a big dog, little dog, pit bull, chihuahua, poodle, it does not matter. The nature of the dog is the same. It barks and it wags its tail. That is the nature of the dog. Bear me witness. I don't care what kind of dog it is. It barks and it wags its tail. Nature of the dog. If the dog started to meow, now that gets an audience. What is this? See, that got your attention. What? What's going on? What? You're totally confused because that's not the nature of the dog. That's the nature of the cat. See? So President Abraham Lincoln, understanding the nature of the two people in question, they ain't gonna never see eye to eye. So we're going to colonize the Asiatics. We're going to colonize them, give them a separate land or territory of their own where they can govern themselves so that we can get along in peace. Let's continue. That on the first day of January in the year of our Lord 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or designated part of a state, the people whereof shall then be in rebellion against the United States, shall then be thenceforward and forever free, and the executive government of the United States, including the military and naval authority thereof, will recognize there is but one issue for them, and that is for them to be recognized. And it only comes through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government. Therefore, will recognize and maintain the freedom of such persons, and will do no act or acts to repress such persons or any of them in any efforts they may make for their actual freedom. Now, they don't even discuss the initial Emancipation Proclamation. Now, I need you to understand this is a war measure. Okay? This is a war measure. And as people whose nationality has been stripped, we are captors of war. It states that right there. Look at the last sentence, bottom right-hand corner of your screen. It says we are captors of war. This was a war measure, i.e., the Civil War. Let's continue. Now, so it starts with the initial Emancipation Proclamation, September the 22nd, 1862. This further matures into the compensated Emancipation Proclamation, December the 1st, 1862. Some 2 months after the issue of his great proclamation of liberty, see, it's a policy of freedom. President Lincoln, in his second annual message to Congress, December the 1st, 1862, took occasion again to refer to the compensated emancipation and indeed to the entire matter of slavery and freedom. Now, notice they didn't tell you about none of this in college. They didn't tell you none of this in high school. They didn't tell you none of this in junior high. They didn't tell you none of this in elementary school. They didn't tell you about none of this in church. They didn't tell you about none of this. You don't hear about it on the news. Ain't nobody, there's a blackout on the information. There's a blackout on the information. So that further matured, again, initial Emancipation Proclamation, further matured into the compensated Emancipation Proclamation, December the 1st, 1862. So get the dates right. September 22nd, 1862, December the 1st, 1862. Let's continue. Now, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to highlight some things. You're going to have to read this stuff for yourself. I do not have all night to be here. That Egypt of the West is going to take on significance here. This is where I want to get you to. Let's see what's in this compensated Emancipation Proclamation for our actual freedom. See, because remember it said acts, don't suppress any of them for any acts that they make for their actual freedom. So every state wherein slavery now exists, which shall abolish the same therein at any time or times before the first day of January in the year of our Lord 1900 would be 1900. That year gonna have a special meaning in just a minute. Every state wherein slavery now exists, which shall abolish the same therein at any time or times before the first day of January in the year of our Lord 1900, shall receive compensation from the United States as follows. Wait a minute. So let me get this straight. President Lincoln, first of all, what we need to understand is the Confederacy was winning this thing called the Civil War. They were winning. What would make them stop fighting, though? If they were winning, what made them stop fighting? Because they were promised to be compensated according to the law. They were to be compensated for their confiscated property. The slaves. Property. You say, I'm not property. Slaves ain't property. Slaves are property, just like your dog is property. Don't you have papers on your dog? Did you name the dog or did the dog name itself? Huh? Did you name Fido or did Fido name himself? You're the one putting little hats and glasses on the dog and little shoes on it. The hell is wrong with you? That dog don't need all of that. Like Allah don't know what he doing. Allah made the dog with everything the dog needs. Here you come with your crazy self. You dressing up the dog like it's one of your children. You name the dog. It belonged to you. And if it don't belong to you, why is it that when your dog get into a controversy out in the street, they come get you? They come get you. They take you into court. I don't see your dog there too much, but I do see you. Why are you liable for what your dog did if your dog is not property? That belongs to you. That's registered to you. That you name, that you feed, that you clothe, that you house. Well, if you did that with your dog, did not white folks do that to us? We got documents on that. Why are you wearing the name that, did you give the name that did you add to yourself? So you personally named yourself Willis McGillicuddy? Is that a part of your national descent? Huh? Do the people that look like you wear names like Willis McGillicuddy, Shaquille O'Neal, Jesse Jackson, Oprah Winfrey? Huh? Do they wear names like that? Is that your national descent? I named all these Irish and English names, Dutch, Spanish. Wait a minute. Your name is Rodriguez. Oh, I get it. Martinez. Is that who you are? No. Your nationality was stripped in 1774, and you accepted the brands of Negro, Black, and Colored, Ethiopian, etc. And now you have accepted the brand of African American. 2 continents. What is wrong with you? Clearly, you don't know who you are, because you are the only people in history whose identity changes like clockwork every 20 to 25 years with no legislation being passed. We're just going to call ourselves something different. Who's voting on this? But anyway, every state within slavery now exists, which shall abolish the same therein at any time or time before the first day of January in the year of our Lord 1900, shall receive compensation from the United States as follows. All slaves who shall enjoy the actual freedom by the chance of the war at any time before the end of the rebellion shall be forever free. Where do you see this language forever free at in today's society? But all owners of such who shall not have been disloyal shall be compensated for them. Them who? The slaves, the property. So the European slave owners, the slave owners must be compensated per the law of the land. Now, you're not going to get around this point. I just told you this is 1862. This didn't go anywhere. This has already been decided. It has already been worked out. Now, all we have to do is enforce it, but we cannot get you Moors to come around the table and deal with the policy of freedom. You want to deal with United States codes and ordinances. That's what you want to deal with. You want to deal with the Uniform Commercial Code. Ain't got a damn thing to do with compensation. Nothing. Let's continue. See, I ain't talking. I got receipts, brother. I'm showing you what it is. You over there just talking loud, ain't saying nothing. I'm talking to all you Moors in these various paradigms. I'm talking to all of y'all. Because this don't make no sense. I'm showing you the actual policy of freedom. Again, all slaves who have enjoyed actual freedom by the chances of the war at any time before the end of the rebellion shall be forever free. But all owners of such who shall not have been disloyal shall be compensated for them at the same rates as is provided for the states adopting abolishment of slavery, but in such way that no slave shall be twice accounted for. Congress shall appropriate money and otherwise provide for the colonizing free colored persons with their own consent at any place or places within the United States. So on this 3630 parallel, there sits a landmark. It is called the Liberty Bell. And on this Liberty Bell, there's an inscription, Leviticus 25:10. On this Liberty Bell, this landmark in the West, sits an inscription of the Liberty Bell, Leviticus 25:10. And ye shall hallow in the 50th year. Now, all you Moors, this is your claim to fame. That's right. Prophet Noble Drew Ali made his hello. Yep. Come all you Asiatics and hear the truth about your nationality and birthright. That's what you say. That's what you say. Let's read this. And ye shall hallow in the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout all the land until all the inhabitants thereof, the permanent occupants, the natives. It shall be a jubilee unto you, and you shall return every man unto his possession. Whoop! Hey, hello, Moors. Moors in the different Moorish paradigms. Hello. How do you return a man unto his possession? And return every man unto his family. What is your possession? Can you prove that with the prophet's literature? What your possessions actually are? What's your family? How far does your family extend? Since this is your claim to fame. Leviticus 25:10. And why is it on the Liberty Bell of all places? Now, we just covered that Philadelphia was the first capital for the U period, S period, A period. We also just covered that this is where the Moors' nationality was being stripped at that first Continental Convention back there in 1774, October the 20th to be precise. And at the same time, they were doing the Articles of Association. They were associating themselves with the Moors, 35 Moors chieftains, 20 Anglo-Saxons, who formed We the People to form a more perfect union, where you couldn't have a more perfect union unless you had a union to begin with. We brought the European into our house, not the other way around. So how do we return every man unto his possession? What is your possession? Northwest and Southwest Africa, the present Moroccan Empire, that's your possession. That's your landmass. Oh, okay. And return every man unto his family. Who is your family? It ain't Martinez. That ain't your family. It ain't McGillicuddy. It ain't O'Neill. It ain't Winfrey. It ain't Washington. That ain't your family. You got to give the European his surname back. You got to give that back, and you got to go with your family. You got to go with your family. Let's go to this last tier law down here in Act 6, because that is our subject today. The Moorish Americans. Oh, there's your free national name right there. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites. What? The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabite. What do you mean Moabites? Let's see. Let's reverse. Let's go in reverse. Ancient Moabite. The root word of Moabite is Moab. Let's see. Can we make sense of this? So let's see. There's Prophet Abraham had a nephew named Lot. Lot, his eldest daughter, has a son named Moab. Moabites. And it was these folks whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Inhabitant, permanent occupants of the land where the United States has been established. So according to Leviticus 25:10, you must return every man to his own. Starting to make sense. Act 6. So you got to explain it. But we ain't quite there yet. We still back here in 1865. Hold on. I ain't done with 1865 yet. Let me get back to my proclamations. Hold on just a minute. So again, we got the proclamations of President Abraham Lincoln. Okay, starting with that initial Emancipation Proclamation, September the 22nd, 1862, that is further graduating into the compensated Emancipation Proclamation, December the 8th, 1862. Okay, we're going into that. And then that further matures, or not matures, but then there is another proclamation that you are very familiar with called the Emancipation Proclamation, which in reality is the supplemental Emancipation Proclamation. They don't call it that because if they called it that, then you would have to get busy trying to find it. But if you go to your law dictionary and you look up the lawful definition of if you look up the lawful definition of Emancipation Proclamation, there it is. An executive proclamation issued January the 1st, 1863 by President Lincoln declaring that all persons held in slavery in certain designated states and districts were and should remain free. Now, they teach you of the Emancipation Proclamation in school. They do. But you have never heard them say that. And I just read to you the lawful definition of it. You have never heard the school system, none of your teachers, none of your pastors, none of your preachers, nobody has ever read that to you and let you look at the lawful definition. Not one person. I want you to look at it. Let's read it again, shall we? Emancipation Proclamation, an executive proclamation issued January the 1st, 1863 by Abraham Lincoln. Okay. Now, that all persons declaring that all persons held in slavery in certain designated states and districts were and should remain free. It didn't say abolish involuntary servitude. That ain't what it said. It said should remain free. That's what it said. It's a little different language. So now, in this same compensated Emancipation Proclamation, which is the second annual address to Congress, as to the first article, the main points of first, the emancipation. Got to be emancipated first, but just what we're talking about. Secondly, the length of time for the consummating is 37 years. So these people had 37 years from 1863 to bring their state constitutions in line with the free national constitution and to implement the policy of freedom, therefore compensating the slaveholders, compensating the slaves, colonizing the slaves in a land or territory of their own, 22 states, of which, if you take the Liberty Bell and flip it upside down and put it over a map of the United States, you will see it will encompass 22 states, with the crack in the Liberty Bell being the Mississippi River. Anyway, interesting. You can't make this stuff up. All right. And then thirdly, the compensation. You don't want this? This is all part of this 1865 that Prophet Noble Drew Ali keeps telling you about. See? And slavery lasted into 1865 at the conclusion of the Civil War. So the supplemental Emancipation Proclamation that they tell you about, which is the Emancipation Proclamation, but that's what it really is, January the 1st, 1863, right there. And when you look up the lawful definition of Emancipation Proclamation, you see the dates line up just right. Now, let me deal with a point of contention. It's right here. Oh, boy. Now, this is the Oath of Amnesty and Reconstruction. So we have established that the Confederacy, the states that were pro-slavery, were in rebellion to the Union. Which means that they were outside of the constitutional they were outside of the constitutional fold of government. Are you following me? They were let me say this again. The Confederacy, the pro-slavery states and people who were residing in those states were outside of the Union. They were in rebellion to the free national constitution or the original constitution. It is going to become very clear why I'm saying it that way in just a minute. Okay. So now you had, to use this slang and cheap expression, you had white folks who were living in these rebellious states. They were in rebellion. And you had Asiatics who were also in rebellion because their nationality had been stripped back there in 1774. Some of them were slaveholders and knew exactly what their national descent was. Some of them were slaves. They did not know what their national descent was, and they were clinging to names and principles that alluded to slavery. So you had all this madness going on between 1862 and 1865. So President Abraham Lincoln, the Melungeon president that looked like you and I, he comes with the oath of amnesty and reconstruction. He administered this. So now he's restoring their rights back under the constitutional fold of government. Back under the Union. You got to line up your state constitutions. You got to compensate the slaveholders. We're going to compensate you. And we got to compensate the slaves. We got to colonize those persons of African descent, the Asiatics. We're going to colonize them in a separate land or territory of their own. You understand? We know you can't do this overnight, so we're going to give you 37 years to get it done. From 1863 to 1900. We're trying to give you justice. Trying to give justice to two people who are diametrically opposed to each other. Two different natures. Ain't no way they're going to see the thing the same. If two people are looking at the same thing and perceiving it totally different, then the two people are operating from two different stimuluses, two different stimuli. You looking at the brother get beat down, shot down by the police, and call it police brutality. White folks look at it and go, must have did something. Police was doing their job. Two different people with two distinctly different natures looking at the same thing, but they are operating from two different stimuli. So they ain't gonna never have a meeting of the minds. So since we are not gonna have a meeting of the minds, it is absolutely a policy of freedom that we separate. Separation is the best and only solution. I've said this before. I'm going to say it again because it's rather humorous when you think about it. You and your mobitis, you and your wifey, you and your significant other, you go to a fine restaurant. You ain't never been in that kind of restaurant before. So you like, man, never been here before. This is nice. You like, yeah, this is nice. She talking to you, you talking to her. Y'all get to the maitre d' and he, yes, can we help you? Yes, we'd like to see some menus. Two, please. Oh, we got a fancy. You want to sit at the bar? You want to sit at a table? You want a booth? I want a booth because I want to look into my baby eyes and I want to talk to her and whisper sweet nothings in her ear. Yeah, this is nice. You dressed up in your finery. She looking scrumptious. You looking scrumptious. You got your fez on. She got her turban on. Y'all turning all kind of heads in the restaurant. You get to the table. They hand you the menus, and the menu got one item, and you like, man, you flipping the menu over. What's going on, baby? Your menu only got one item. Yeah, only got one item. You call the waitress back over. Excuse me. Yes, ma'am. Something must be wrong with the menu. These menus, these menus only got one item on it. Yes, sir. Well, can we see something else? No, but it's only got one item. It's the best item. Well, do you have another menu? No, it's the only item. It's the best and only solution. But Allah, in His infinite wisdom, let you get yourself all wrapped up with integration to prove to you from 1865 to 2023, at the close of 2023, it ain't working. I don't care what you say. It ain't working. Our two natures are diametrically opposed to each other. So Abraham Lincoln, in his wisdom of his day, said, look, let's do this oath of amnesty and reconstruction. We'll give y'all some time to get your government, your state governments restructured, get this compensation piece put in place. And then by taking this oath, you will have your rights reestablished. You will come back under the protection of the free national constitution and Republican form of government. Y'all don't believe that, do you? Y'all don't believe that, do you? Let's check it out, shall we? See what this is? See what it says? I, Abraham Lincoln, President of the United States, do proclaim, declare, and make known to all persons who have directly or by implication participated in the existing rebellion, except as hereinafter accepted, that a full pardon is hereby granted to them, and each of them with restoration of all rights of property, except as to slaves, and in property cases where rights of third parties shall have intervened, third party being the Union soldiers have intervened, third parties being the executive branch of government, and upon the condition that every such person shall take and subscribe an oath, and therefore keep and maintain said oath inviolate, and which oath shall be registered for permanent preservation, and shall be of the tenure and effect following, to wit. See, this is the oath of amnesty and reconstruction. This is not the oath of affirmation that you take when they naturalize you into the United States District of Columbia. That ain't what we doing. You Moors got to get it together. That is not what we're doing. I do solemnly swear in presence of Almighty God Allah that I will henceforth faithfully support, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Union. Again, and the Union. U period, S period, A period, taking you back to 1774. Thereunder, and that I will in like manner abide by and faithfully support all acts of Congress. What acts of Congress? Passed during the existing rebellion with reference to slaves. Oh, so long and so far as not repealed, modified, or held void by Congress or by the decision of the Supreme Court. And that I will in like manner abide by and faithfully support all proclamations. You mean the four I just mentioned? Starting with the initial emancipation, September the 22nd, 1862. You mean that? Of the president made during the existing rebellion, having reference to slaves, so long and so far as not modified or declared void by decision of the Supreme Court. So help me Allah. You mean that? You mean those proclamations? Now, what substantiates those proclamations? The 13th Amendment with its 20 sections. The 13th Amendment, which we can't leave that out. Now, you say, what has all this got to do with Act 6? Let's go back to it. Let's talk about it. Because I don't want you to lose the point. Let's talk about it. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government. So you are a part of the union, said government, that which was before what you presently have now. And know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, or black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slaves by the slaveholders in 1779. Because in reality, you are Moorish Americans. And given to the slaveholders in 1779, and that lasted until 1865 at the conclusion of the Civil War. Why? Because the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections, ratified November 18th, 1865 by 3/4 of the several states, became a permanent part of the free national constitution that Prophet Noble Drew Ali told you to obey in Act 5 of the Moorish Science Temple Constitution and bylaws that you keep running by, but you read it, but you don't understand it. And now that I done brought it up, I might as well go there. Let me get to it, because I know some of y'all like, well, I ain't never seen that. I ain't never seen that. Boom. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and bylaws by who? Prophet Noble Drew Ali, founder. Take all your national grand sheiks and sit down. We ain't talking about what they talking about. Now we talking about what the founder talking about. We gonna read what the founder said. This is where you can be quiet. We gonna read what the founder said. Acts 1 through 7. Now, I've been beating on Act 6 all day, but I just mentioned Act 5. I'm gonna go up here to Act 4 though. Let's go up here to Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government. What government? What government? Which one? Which one? Which one are we to obey? All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government. Would that be said government? That which was before, what you have now, that which was a republic, not a democracy, that which was a part of the Union. You mean the Union Republic, not the democracy brought into existence with the Organic Act of 1871, establishing a government for the District of Columbia. You mean that? No, we ain't obeying that. We obeying said government. And then he says, this organization, what organization? Go back up here and check it out. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Moorish Science Temple of America. That organization. See, this organization, the Moorish Science Temple of America, is not to cause any confusion. Well, we certainly messed that up, didn't we? We certainly messed that up. See, due to a misunderstanding. See, this organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws of the Constitution of the said government, but to obey herein. Well, what is the Constitution of the said government? It can't be this. It can't be this. He said, obey the Constitution of said government. This did not come in existence until 1913. What is this said government? I just told you. It's the Union, which has a constitution. Have you ever read the original Constitution? That which Prophet Noble Drew Ali refers to as the Free National Constitution in his Divine Warning of 1928? That is the Constitution for said government. And according to the Free National Constitution of said government, okay, that you were told to obey in Act 5, you're not supposed to cause any confusion or overthrow that. You ain't supposed to. You're supposed to understand the laws of that. You're supposed to know what's in it. You got to know what's in it. The Constitution does not grant rights, it protects rights. But you can't have any rights protected by the Free National Constitution because you are not a party to it, Dred Scott. Your nationality was stripped back there in 1774. And you have not went through a naturalization process, that process by which one acquires nationality after birth and becomes entitled to the privileges of citizenship. You haven't done that. So therefore, you have no rights. I don't know why you're trying to proclaim your nationality using United States codes and uniform commercial codes and statutory law, because statutory laws do not apply to natural persons. Does not apply to natural persons. And as a side note, if all of you Moors are in agreement that the nationality of the Moors was stripped, and that the United States government is in fact de facto, why would you use de facto courts, de facto statutory law to try to find a remedy in a rigged game? That is like telling me you went to Las Vegas, lost your money, and loved it. You are a special kind of stupid. You are playing in a rigged game, but yet you will turn right around and tell us all on YouTube, Europeans ain't got no jurisdiction. Europeans ain't got no jurisdiction. Well, if they ain't got no jurisdiction, why are you standing in their de facto court? Why are you even there? If you the true sovereign, if you belong to a sovereign body politic and corporate under the illustrious Hebrew prophet, if that's the case, why are you even there? Why didn't you just tell him, hold on there, Chief? I don't answer to you. I'm up under the Hebrew prophet. You don't tell him that. You don't tell him nothing because you don't know how to approach. You don't know how to approach because you don't understand the prophet's literature. Let's keep it moving. Let's keep it moving. So let's go back to our Act 6. Okay, let's go back. We almost done. Don't worry about it. I just want to get this out here. So now, lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery, but this is a new era of time now. Woo! New era of time is underlined. Prophet Noble Drew Ali drawing special attention to the new era of time. Ding, ding, ding. New era of time. So if you don't understand what constituted the new era of time, if you don't understand what the new era of time is, if you don't understand how to maneuver with the new era of time, you will make grave errors and find yourself very unsuccessful. And then he says, it's a new era of time now. What was the old era? Because if it's a new era, that means there's an old era. Something about this era that wasn't happening in the last era. So we got to understand what's happening this time. New era of time now. And all men now, see, all men now, he's using the word now. All men now must, again, mandatory, proclaim, make widely known their free national name. Stop. Why he didn't say nationality? No, I want you to catch this. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. He started proclaim your nationality. Then he gets down here in the new era of time, and now he says all men now must proclaim their free national name. Why you just didn't say nationality again? So you got to pick up on these little nuances. What's your free national name? Moorish American. Oh, so you mean you have to have documentation with your free national name on it in order to be recognized by the government in which you live and the nations of the earth. Uh-oh. Why must you do this in this new era of time? Because you see, I already alluded to it. We had a Republican form of government right up about the end of that Civil War. President Lincoln got them proclamations passed, got the 13th Amendment passed with its 20 sections. That's the lawful 13th Amendment. That's going to take on new special meaning here in just a minute. Okay. So that's passed. Conclusion of the Civil War. Slaveholders are supposed to be compensated. Slaves are supposed to be naturalized, compensated, and colonized. Lincoln is assassinated. None of this takes place. These people treacherously recall a 14th Amendment, which supposedly gives you your quote unquote citizenship. It does not. They tell you that the 13th Amendment abolished involuntary servitude. I don't know what they're talking about, but okay. And then the 15th Amendment gives you your so-called voting rights. This is all back. I want you to understand this. This is all back here in 1865. 1871, they come with the Organic Act, putting a government in the District of Columbia because they're saying we're not going to naturalize them because that'll make them citizens in the true sense. We're not going to compensate them either. We don't want to do nothing for them. So let's re-enslave them all over again. We definitely, you don't read nowhere in this literature in the Civil War era where anybody was proclaiming their nationality. Nowhere. So this situation was so prevalent that Allah saw fit to give us a man that we are obligated to follow. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the Hebrew prophet. So he established, now we're talking about what the founder did. He established a new era of time by doing what? Filing a religious affidavit. A religious affidavit, organizational affidavit or organization. August the 1st, 1928 at 2:52 p.m., establishing a new era of time. It also established a free national government, body politic and corporate. I need you to understand that. Body politic and corporate. Free national government. Bringing the republic back. August the 1st, 1928 at 2:52 p.m. Using the Hurd-Smith revised statutes. Interesting. Now, all you Moorish paradigm, are y'all in agreement thus far? Notice I ain't brought our National Grand Chief, Joe Brian Bay, to the table yet. Been talking almost 3 hours. I ain't brought him to the table yet. I keep him out of the equation because y'all got a problem with this man. Y'all got a problem with this brother. So I keep him out the demonstration. So I'm just showing you what Prophet Noble Drew Ali said, the founder, and we're going to play connect the dots. So now, how do you become a party to this thing? Let's go to the Prophet's literature. Now, I want you to pay real special attention to this part right here now. Let me find what I'm looking for. Let me go over here. Hold on. Let me get here. Hold on before I go there. I saw something. Let me come at it this way. Hold on. Yeah, let me find it. There it is. There it is. Boom. United States Supreme Court. Two different and distinct nations. Were you aware of this? Two different and distinct nations. The ideal prevails with some. Indeed, it has expression in arguments at the bar. That would be the Bar Association. That would be law. The idea prevails with some. Indeed, it has expression in arguments at the bar that we have in this country substantially two national governments. One to be maintained under the Constitution, with all of its restrictions. See that semicolon up, and now it's going to talk about the other one. The other one to be maintained by Congress outside and independently of that instrument. Wait a minute. The ideal prevails with some. Indeed, it has expression in arguments at the bar that we have in this country substantially two national governments. Which one are you a party to, Moors? Which one? Since there's two of them, which one are you a party to? And how do you distinguish one from the other? It says one to be maintained under the Constitution. What Constitution? Which Constitution they talking about? Because if it's two national governments, then there's two constitutions. Now I know, I can hear y'all now. See, brother, the Moorish Zion Temple Constitution and bylaws, that's what it's talking about. It don't make no kind of sense, though, because when you read Act 5, do I have to read this again? When you read Act 5, it ain't even going to make sense to you. If this is the Constitution that we talking about right here, then how do you explain this organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws, and there's that conjunction, laws and Constitution, that go together. Peanut butter and jelly, it go together. Laws and Constitution of the said government, that which was mentioned before. That which was before. Before what? Before what you currently have now. This was back there in the early 1900s. What is this said Constitution? Huh? What is that? That's the original Constitution, the first 7 articles. It's going to take on special meaning in a minute, I'm telling you. Let me get back at it. Let me find where I was at. Hold on. Let me get back at it. Gotta get back at it. I'm gonna take my time, which I don't care how long this demonstration takes. I'm gonna get it all out. And then I want somebody to come behind me after November the 9th. After November the 9th, 2023. If your demonstration changed, then we know who stimulated the change. It wasn't you waking up talking about, yeah, I'm just smart. No, I'm smart. Here we go. The idea prevails with some. Indeed, it has expression and arguments at the bar that we have in this country substantially two national governments. One to be maintained under the Constitution with all of its restrictions. Check checks and balances, the other to be maintained by Congress. So you can be a party to one or the other. But if you don't know which one you are party to, then you out of luck. Most of you are a party to the Constitution under the Congress because you are United States citizens, because you are clinging to names and principles that allude to slavery, because your citizenship is based on the 14th Amendment, which puts you squarely under the jurisdiction of the United States. Your citizenship is a federal citizenship. That's what it is. You're like, no, it ain't what it is. It is what it is. Rights and obligations occurring by reason of being a citizen of the United States. State or status of being a citizen of the United States. And the United States is a 10 square mile area situated in the District of Columbia, which was put in existence with the Organic Act of 1871. A person born or naturalized in the United States. Mose, hello? A person born or naturalized in the United States. We ain't naturalizing you in the United States, fool. Prophet Noble Drew Ali came to get us out of all of that. We're not putting our people back under that. Not the District of Columbia, not Congress, said government. That's what we're talking about. See, a person born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is a citizen of the United States and of the state wherein he resides. Look what it says. 14th Amendment, United States Constitution. But the problem with that is the United States Supreme Court, October the 15th, 1883, ruled the 13th Amendment with two sections, 14th and 15th Amendments, unconstitutional in a landmark decision, 109 U.S. 3. Were y'all moles aware of that? I said, were you moles aware that the United States Supreme Court ruled the 13th Amendment with two sections, 14th and 15th Amendments, unconstitutional in a landmark decision, 109 U.S. 3, declaring those three amendments dead badges of law and they have no validity whatsoever. But our people just keep holding on to names and principles that delude to slavery because great white father ain't told us no different. So we don't know how to think outside of the thinking that he told us to think. We don't know what to do. And we don't like your National Grand Sheik, Joe Brand Bay. We really don't like him for some ungodly reason. I have no idea. We don't like him, so we're not going to follow him. We would much rather go with United States codes and uniform commercial codes and ordinances and statutes and all this old kind of stuff. We'd much rather do that. That makes more sense to us than learning the law and the lawful process by which you can get free. We don't want to do the policy of freedom. We don't want to do it. I get it. Too difficult for you. I understand. I understand. This is not for everybody. I get it. It's not for everybody. I understand what you're saying. Trust me. But anyway, let me make this point here real quick. I was talking about 109 US 3. I had it. I got it up here somewhere. I'll come to it. The U period, S period, A period made the Constitution. That would be the original Constitution. Wait. Read it again. The U period, S period, A period made the Constitution. The original Constitution. The Constitution did not make the United States of America. Remember that. To begin the study of basic points in the history of the United States of America, it is absolutely necessary before we attempt to write or argue even in very simple form, to get thoroughly into our minds first that there are several fundamental, basic, and very important facts to get clear and understandable before we can claim any authority, in fact, to write on the subject if we are honest, because without these very vital facts deeply set in our minds, we will start off wrong and then find ourselves engulfed in a tremendous and destructive whirlpool of misunderstanding and worthless conclusions. There is a misunderstanding as to what the movement was really about. The first and most important fact that we must get deep down in our mind is that there was a union before there were any states. Stop right there. So there was a union before there were any states. Secondly, the union has never changed or ceased to exist. Woo. Thirdly, that the only change in the union was evolutionary, upward and onward for better in every step until we find first 18 states and then up and on 48. I just want to put that out there. So there was a union prior to a constitution. We got two national governments in existence, two constitutions in existence. We got a free national government for free national beings with a free national constitution. And then we got everybody else who is being maintained under Congress. Now, my question for you, Moors, is are you under the free national government republic? Are you under the free national constitution? Are you under that? That's a question for you, not for me. Hold on. Let me now we finna curl your socks. Because this is what y'all claim. And Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Y'all love this. Prophet Noble Drew Ali me to death. Everything Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Then I ask you to explain what Prophet Noble Drew Ali wrote and how it applies to you. And you go to looking up in the sky and you go to giving me a whole bunch of words that don't mean anything because it seems too difficult for you to go, I don't know. I just don't know. See, there's a term that you need to learn. It's called humility. See, only when you're humble, then somebody can teach you and instruct you better. But there's a certain spirit you bring to the table, like, I don't know, within yourself. I don't know, but I'm willing to find out. And I'm willing to find out from everybody because I just don't know. But once you ascribe to yourself that you know, now, you shut your brain off from in taking on any more new information because you already know. I get it. So let's deal with it. So we're gonna deal with these two documents now, since y'all love to talk about Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Yeah, y'all love to talk about Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Me too. So we're gonna deal with these two documents right here. The Warning of 1928 and Prophet Makes Plea to the Nation. Now pay attention. Pay attention. Our divine and national movement stands for the specific grand principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And I, the prophet, am applying to all loyal, faithful Moors, comma, that's one category, members, comma, second category, and the American citizens, third category, to help me in my great uplifting acts of uplifting fallen humanity among the Asiatic race and nation. For I have suffered much and severely in the past through misunderstanding of what the movement was dedicated to. Stop right there. Stop right there. The citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution. Stop right there. What national government? What national constitution? Are all of one family bearing one free national name. What free national name? Those who fail to recognize, the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names. What inferior names? Abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and principles that delude to slavery. What names? What principles that delude to slavery? What free national government? Why are you using the word free? That's an adjective which describes the noun that comes after it. Free national government. So there's a national government in existence, and then there's a free national government also in existence. Oh, I ain't never looked at it like that. Boop. The ideal prevails with some. Indeed, it has expression in arguments at the bar that we have in this country substantially two national governments. One to be maintained under the Constitution, that would be the free national constitution of the free national government, the free government, the republic, Article 4, Section 4 of the free national constitution says all states shall be governed by a republican form of government. And that constitution has all of its restrictions. The other, which would be the national government, that which was brought into existence with the Organic Act of 1871, with the putting a government in the District of Columbia, that constitution is being maintained by Congress. That's where all the U.S. citizens, legal fictions, corporate entities, all the people that are deluding to names and principles that delude to slavery, all of those who have not proclaimed their nationality, all of those who have not went through a naturalization process, that process by which one acquires nationality after birth and is entitled to the privileges of citizenship, those individuals. See? Are you starting to get it? Or are you starting to get it? Now, back at it. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirable and subject to all inferior names, abuses, and mistreatment that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and principles that delude to slavery. Black, Negro, colored, African American, Ethiopian, etc. Names that delude to slavery. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to the state of mind to their forefathers' divine and national principles, that they will be law abiding and receive their divine rights, human rights, unalienable rights as citizens under the free national constitution, the first 7 articles of the original constitution that was prepared for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name, Moorish American, and religion, Islam. But there is but one issue for them: to be recognized by this government and the earth, and that comes only through the connection of the Moorish divine and national movement. Stop right there. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government. Well, you can't be recognized by this government until you proclaim your nationality and go through a naturalization process. You ain't gonna be recognized no other kind of way. But there is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and that comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine and National Movement, which is incorporated in this government. How is it incorporated in this government? You ain't picking up what I'm putting down, are you? By Prophet Noble Drew Ali filing a religious affidavit of organization, August the 1st, 1928, at 2:52 p.m., he establishes a body politic and corporate and a free national government. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth, and that comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine and National Movement, which is incorporated in this government. Did y'all Moors know that? Did y'all know we were an extension of the federal government? Did you know that? Go look the word extension up in a law dictionary and see what I'm talking about. Were you aware of that? You ain't got a clue what I'm saying, do you? And through what? The Moorish Divine and National Movement, they and their children can receive their divine rights. You mean their human rights, their unalienable rights? Oh, unmolested by other citizens. Oh, this is pretty serious. They can cast a free national ballot to the polls under a free national constitution. There it is. The free national constitution of the United States government, and not under a granted privilege. A granted privilege of civil rights, people, as has been the existing condition for many generations. Now let's jump down here. I'm not going to read the whole one tonight. We're going to come back and do another demonstration on that. But let's get to it. Let me go here. Through your free national name, Moorish American, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerner, which was at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. You remember I talked about that oath of amnesty and reconstruction back there on December the 8th? Huh? Y'all remember that? Remember I talked about that? Oath of amnesty and reconstruction, and I said President Lincoln administered this oath so that these people can get themselves together and come back under the constitutional fold of government, align all of their state constitutions with the free national constitution. He gave them 37 years to implement the policy of freedom. So they had from 1963 to 1900, 37 years to compensate, colonize, and naturalize us, making us true citizens of the U period, S period, A period, and they did not do it. They violated their own contract. They did not do it. Now do you see why Prophet Noble Drew Ali had to come? It's a little deeper than just proclaiming nationality. Anywho, through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized said national government in which they live. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unit, placing the Southerner, which was at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. And at that time, 1865, at the conclusion of the Civil War, the free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774, taking you all the way back to the Union, taking you all the way back to the Articles of Association, October the 20th, 1774, declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution, the first 7 articles of the original Constitution, to be free and equal, since that Constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendment for the salvation of our people and citizens. But Prophet Noble Drew Ali did not mention the 13th Amendment, did not. And this is where many of you Moors, if not most, fall off the wagon. You don't know what is happening right here. Say the 14th, 15th Amendment don't apply to us. It just don't apply. Why it don't apply? Why? Give me the specifics of it. And again, if your demonstration come up with these answers after November the 9th, 2023, we know where you got it from. We know where you got it from. The 14th Amendment, as they say, gives our people their citizenship. But in the 4th section of the 14th Amendment specifically, it denies the right of compensation of property as guaranteed by the 5th Amendment of the Free National Constitution, Article 5. So, the United States Supreme Court, October the 15th, 1883, struck it out. The 15th Amendment gives you your quote unquote voting rights for these quote unquote U.S. citizens who have their citizenship through the 14th Amendment, let them tell it, which squarely puts them under the authority of Congress, which squarely identifies them with the Organic Act of 1874, putting a government in the District of Columbia. The Supreme Court, October the 15th, 1883, 109 U.S. 3, threw it out because, hey, there was already voting dealt with in the 13th Amendment. Not the 13th Amendment that you Google, not the 13th Amendment with its 2 sections, not that. No. We talking about this. This is the original 13th. See what it says? Ratified November 18th, 1865. Oh boy. Let's go back. 1865. Boom. Let's get it. Here we go. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians. Misnomers, because these names were given to the slaves by the slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now. So in 1865, the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections ratified November the 18th, 1865 by 3/4 of the several states and made a permanent part of the Free National Constitution. Hello? Made a permanent part of the Free National Constitution. The reason the Supreme Court struck out the 13th Amendment with 2 sections and the 15th Amendment is because everything you need is right here. We already covered why the 14th Amendment was thrown out. Is not your voting covered in Section 3 of the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections? The right of citizens to free and lawful speech in public assemblies shall not be denied. Access of citizens to the ballot box. Is this not your voting? Shall not be obstructed either by civil or military power. Huh? 3630 parallel is mentioned almost 6 times in this amendment. 8 sections tie you back in this amendment. 8 sections of this amendment tie you back to the Free National Constitution. Huh? You Moors don't even know what I'm talking about in these other Moorish paradigms. You have no idea what I'm talking about. You don't need United States codes, statutory law, uniform commercial codes, none of that. Everything you need is right here in this 13th Amendment with its 20 sections, which substantiates those 4 proclamations that I aforementioned. See what it says right there in Section 7? Do you see what it says? Form a constitution for a Republican form of government, Article 4, Section 4 of the Free National Constitution, shall be admitted as a state into the Union. Into the Union. This is what we making you a citizen of. This is what we doing when we naturalize you. We going back into the Union. We ain't talking about what you talking about. We talking about what Prophet Noble Drew Ali is talking about. We ain't talking about what you talking about. Oh, and while I'm on that point, for those that say, well, Prophet Noble Drew Ali ain't tell nobody to naturalize our people. Yep, you right about that. You right about that. I don't read that nowhere where Prophet Noble Drew Ali said to naturalize anybody. You are absolutely correct. I am in agreement with you. But at the same time, you can't show me where Prophet Noble Drew Ali told you to nationalize anybody either. You can't show me that. Oh, so now we got to read with comprehension. We're going to have to read what the prophet said, and then we're going to have to obey what he said, regardless to how you feel. Let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean. Let me get right to it. We're not even going to delay the point. Let me find it. Hold on, brother. Be patient. Be patient. Let me find it. Let me find it. I had it up here. Oh, boy. I got to get it. I got to get back to it. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. We got to get back to the prophet's literature. This is what we're doing. Here we go. Here we go. Let's go. Prophet makes plea to the nation. Our divine and national movement, now we clear on what that is, stands for the specific grand principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, justice. And I, the prophet, am applying to all loyal, faithful Moors, members, and the American citizens to help me in my great uplifting acts of uplifting fallen humanity among the Asiatic race and nation. For I have suffered much and severely in the past through misunderstanding of what the movement was dedicated to. It's a misunderstanding. And we're going to get into these misunderstandings. It is the great God Allah alone that guides the destiny of this divine and national movement. I know all true American citizens, not U.S. citizens, American citizens are identified by national descent names to answer and apply to the free national constitution of this free national republic. Stop. How does one apply to the free national constitution? Well, you can't apply to that which you don't know. What is the free national constitution? Now, we done saw that. We saw that in Act 5. Okay. Moorish Science Temple, Constitution, and Bylaws. In Act 5, Prophet Noble Drew Ali is telling us to obey the constitution of said government and not to overthrow the laws. And now he's telling us in Prophet Makes Plea to the Nation, he's telling us that number one, we are identified, American citizens are identified by national descent names, and then to answer and apply to the free national constitution. Well, clearly, he put the word free in front of national constitution. So he's letting you know something about said constitution. The free national constitution is the first 7 articles of the original constitution. So how does one apply to the free national constitution? One would have to read the free national constitution. And when you get to Article 1, Section 8, Clause 4 of the free national constitution, it says to establish a uniform rule of naturalization. It ain't me. Don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at our national grand chief. What you mad at him for? Because he know how to read and comprehend? Is that what the problem is? I guess if he was dumb, you'd have something to say about that too. Can't win with you. We just can't win. So instead of us trying to appeal to your sense of reason, I'll just smash you with the truth. How about that? That's why I talk the way I talk. It don't leave no room for debate. I'm not even open to it. Just be quiet and look at what's on your screen. It says, by national descent names to answer and apply to the free national constitution of this free national republic of the U period, S period, A period. The United States of America, not a democracy, a republic. Article 4, Section 4 of the free national constitution. Once again, all states shall be governed by a republican form of government. I don't know what you're talking about. See, that's why I'm calling on all true national citizens. See, true. Had to put the word true up there because you are not true unless you went through the naturalization process and you complied with the law that makes you who you are, a citizen in the true sense of the word. You like, what? What are you talking about? Okay, let's go there. Let's go there. Let's go there. I'm not even going to spoil it. I'm not even going to spoil it. I know I got it up here. I'm going to find it. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to find it. And again, watch this video over and over again. I know I'm throwing a lot of information. I could have shut this down a long time ago. I am not. I am going to say everything I want to say in one shot, and then that's it. We're going to deal with it. Okay, here we go. I know I'm coming up on it very quickly. There it is. Boom. Yeah, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about this. Oh, I'm going to curl your socks. This is debated in the Senate, this slavery issue. See what it says? March 31st, 1864, the Hebrew law. Now, wait a minute. Wasn't the nationality of the Moors stripped in 1774 and we accepted the brands of Negro, black, colored, these slave marks in 1779? And then we fought a civil war starting with, and it concluded in 1865. But President Lincoln had a series of proclamations starting in 1862 that concluded in 1865. Okay. And then the passage of the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections, which substantiated those four proclamations, made a permanent part of the free national constitution. November the 18th, 1865, ratified by 3/4 of the several states. Well, look what took place back there in the Senate in 1864. At the same era of time, same period, here they go, dealing with the slavery issue. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You can read this for yourself in your leisure. But what I want to point out a couple of things to you. Number one, right here, where it's talking about this common law. It's talking about first Canaan is being cursed. You see, they coming up with all these different arguments, some for slavery, some against. And then all of a sudden, they talking about common law, because that's what was happening back then. Okay, common law. And then all of a sudden we get here. I remarks it, said he in this connection that the Levitical code, wait a minute. Hold on. The Levitical code come out of the house of Levi, right? Morris, hey, pay attention. Hey, you can't accept one part of the Levitical code and throw the rest of it away. Now, you're going to have to either accept the Levitical code in its entirety or you not. You can't accept this part. That's right, Prophet Noble Drew Ali did his hallow in the 50th year. Yes, he did. You can't accept that and reject this. I remarked, said he, in this connection, that the Levitical code or the Hebrew law, stop right there. Hebrew law, Hebrew prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Levitical code, house of Levi. I remarked, said he, in the connection that the Levitical code or the Hebrew law, that means when you see that word or, together, interchangeable, contains a provision for the what? Naturalization of foreigners, whether captives of war. On every one of those proclamations, we are referred to as captives of war. Or voluntary immigrants. We're not voluntary immigrants. We're on our own land. See? But it is talking about a naturalization process. The process by which one acquires nationality after birth and becomes entitled to the privileges of citizenship. By compliance with the requirements of this law. So this is law. They become citizens. Stop right there. When did you Moors comply with this law? The Hebrew law, the Levitical code, of which you say Prophet Noble Drew Ali did his hallow right here. When did you comply with the law, though, of your ancestors? It's their law. It's their naturalization process. Hello? This ain't the white man. This is our ancestors. This the house of Levi. You just stuck on stupid right now, right? Just stuck. See? I remarked, said he, in the connection that the Levitical code or the Hebrew law contains a provision for the naturalization of foreigners, whether captives of war or voluntary immigrants. By compliance with the requirements of this law, they become citizens entitled to all the rights and privileges and immunities of the native Hebrews. The Hebrew slave code applicable to enslaved Hebrews. Oh, why would they apply slave codes, Hebrews, to a bunch of niggas? They must have knew we were native Hebrews. Interesting. Interesting. So now we Hebrews. This is the first time y'all heard that, right? That's the first time y'all heard it. You're like, Hebrew. Now you heard me in my introduction tell you that giving high honor and praise to Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius, and knowing something about these four Hebrew Muslims, we can talk to the entire planet. Hebrew, one who crossed over from idol worship back to the one true God, Allah. Hebrew, one who crossed over from idol worship back to the one true God. Oh, snap. Oh, snap. I'm going to get it all out. Hebrews were Moors. Now, this is a European that wrote this book. Now, how is it that the white man, since y'all don't like nothing I say, you don't like nothing National Grand Sheik say, fine, we'll keep him out of the equation. Let's bring Great White Father to the table. They didn't call the Moors Hebrew in ancient times. Oh, descendants of the ancient Moabites, not modern Moabites, ancient Moabites. They didn't call Moors Hebrew in ancient times. The Geneva Bible also has the Apocrypha. As you can see, the word Moor can be found in this 1560 Geneva Bible. The title Moor was used instead as Hebrew, Cushite, or Ethiopian. In fact, King James, being a Hebrew king, Okay, so if King James is a Hebrew king, is not Prophet Noble Drew Ali the Hebrew prophet? Just food for thought. Just food for thought. In fact, King James, being a Hebrew king, took out more. See, he took the word more out from his 1560 Geneva Bible and replaced it with Hebrew in his 1611 King James Version Bible because he was a Hebrew king. Even the word Hebrew is derived from combining two Egyptian gods, Hathor, mother Mary, and Heru, the son Hero, Christ, to create the word Hebu Haru, which later became Hebrew. She was worshipped in Jerusalem. Her Greek name was Heba, Hercules, goddess, wife. If you pull up the Geneva Bible online, you can put the word more in the search engine and verify all the scriptures. When it comes to the Hebrew Israelites and Moorish Americans, there should be no debates. Moors, Moabites, or Hebrews. Moabites were Hebrews before Jacob and the 12 tribes. For example, Abraham is a sixth generation Hebrew. The Moabites are eighth generation Hebrews. Research Eber and the children of Eber. Prophet Noble Drew Ali was a Hebrew prophet. The Moorish Holy Quran mentions Hebrew a few times, and that science is shown in the Moorish 101 questions, which is why the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, under the leadership of our National Grand Sheikh, Joel Bratton Bey, pushes the ancient Hebrew laws that deal with freedom, birthright, and nationality in constitutional law, and why Moors are Hebrew Muslims of Moorish descent by nature. Fool! Now, if the white man got to tell you this, why the hell can't you figure it out? It ain't that hard to figure out. You just don't want to get it because you might lose your following. You might lose your following. Let me say that one more time. The Moorish Holy Quran mentions Hebrew a few times, and that science is shown in the Moorish 101 questions, which is why the Moorish Science Temple, the Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, under the leadership of National Grand Sheikh Joel Bratton Bey, pushes the ancient Hebrew laws that deal with freedom, birthright, and nationality in constitutional law, and why Moors are Hebrew Muslims of Moorish descent by nature. Now, why does the white man have to tell you this? Huh? Why is this even possible? Why we got to go through this? Because you over there set tripping, because you don't like our National Grand Sheikh. Choke yourself. Who are the Moorish Americans? They are the people who are described, improperly labeled, and identified as so-called Black, Negro, Colored, West Indians, Latinos, Black Indians, Aboriginals, Indigenous, Octochunks, Pre-Adamites, Paleo, First Nation, First People, Afro-African Americans, Native Americans, Amerindians, etc. Misnomers. That which does not describe a people properly. Check it out. There you go. James Lee. Pick up the book. Don't argue with me. This is a European, pale skinned European telling you your history. And you got the nerve to scrunch your face up at our National Grand Sheikh? Choke yourself. That's what you do. Let's continue. Now, we done beat that enough. Let me move on. Now, here we go. I don't want to leave it alone. Now, if we so out of pocket over here in our organization under the leadership of our national grand chief, Joel Braden Bay, why is it that what we do has been verified through the de facto government? Why is that? And how is it that we're able to do what we do? By what authority are we able to do what we do? Because I know you Moorish paradigms can't do this. Y'all, we got a lot of national grand sheiks out there and grand sheiks and grand potentates and all this. I know. Big reverends and big churches, mega churches, and I get it. Everybody's a nation and we got all these organizations, and yeah, I get it. But can't none of y'all do this. Not one of you. Prove it to me. Prove it to me. A citizen subject to the Moorish American National Republic state. Oh, nation state. Within the several states of the United States for America. U period, S period, A period. Is eligible to remove any case, whether civil or criminal, to this court. Which one of y'all, which Moorish paradigm can go into the state courts, the de facto state court, the de facto federal court, take a case out of their court, their jurisdiction, put it in your jurisdiction, adjudicate it, and hand it back to them and say it's now been settled? Which Moorish paradigm can do that? Give me the name of can the Canaanite Moors do that? Can the Moors on the Taj Tariq Bay do that? Can the Moors on the Abdullah do that? Huh? Which? Show me, please. Tell me. Show it to me. Matter of fact, don't tell me. Show it to me, because some of y'all are just not faithful to the truth. Show it to me. Removal of cases from state court. A citizen subject to the Moorish American National Republic within the sea. You can have a name that sounds like ours. You understand? I know what you do. You want to get a name close to ours, so that you can get a little following. Your stuff not real, but if I sound like it's real, man, I get them. I trick them. I hook them. But the bottom line is you can't do this. A citizen subject to the Moorish American National Republic state within the several states of the United States for America is eligible to remove any case, whether civil or criminal, to this court. All cases removed to this court from the courts of the United States shall be docketed and assigned in accordance with Rule 1.2 of these rules. In the division encompassing the county of the state in which the case was pending. Now you say, I don't believe you. I know. Gotta prove it to you. In the Moorish Science Temple of the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, Moorish American National Republic, under the leadership of our Solicitor General, National Grand Sheikh Joel Braden Bay. Huh? This how we get down. Oh, look, there's a Moor in our organization against the state of New York. Oh, what's this all about? The Moorish Science Temple of the Divine and National Movement of North America, Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, pursuant to the divine and fee simple absolute authority through the doorway of the paramount jurisdiction of the Honorable Prophet Noble Drew Ali, Charter Warrant and Dispensation number 1099, see Apostille CS 602-1997-5, U.S. Secretary of State, Hers Revised Statute, Chapter 32, 36, the de jure U period S period A period Constitution of 1787, the Republic, with special emphasis given to the 13th Article of Amendment with 20 sections, the Emancipation Proclamations of President Abraham Lincoln, inclusive of the Proclamation of Amnesty and Reconstruction. Now comes the Moorish Supreme Court of Equity and Truth, endowed by the Creator with the highest charter in the land, above all, to which such jurisdiction supersedes the Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Kings. Which Moorish paradigm and your leadership can do this? Tell me, please. And I don't want to hear nothing you say. Bring the tangibility and put it in front of the people and let them read it for themselves. Now, let us go. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing. But I want you to let me pick it up right here. Let me pick it up right here. Oh, let me pick it up. Let me go right here. Upon full, fair, and impartial consideration, this Supreme Court, Moorish Supreme Court of Equity and Truth, render via the record of evidence the reasons stated herein and in the appended memorandum of fact, in absence of any basis for jurisdiction, neither in proceeding nor subject matter jurisdiction. Now, that's the claim to fame. Moors love to talk about, I ain't got no jurisdiction. You don't have no jurisdiction. But you can't do this. This how you prove you ain't got jurisdiction. You just take stuff from the European. Give me that. Give me that. You got one of our citizens in a controversy over here. No. You don't have no jurisdiction for real. We didn't walk our member into any courtroom in New York. One court, our court, the Supreme Court of Equity and Truth, talked to the court in New York. The member is sitting home enjoying himself, having a good time. Like, no. This is how we get down. Per Charter Warrant of Dispensation number 1099, CS 0602, 1997, 5. C. U.S. Secretary of State. It is so ordered on this 27th day of July 2012, the criminal matter against the naturalized Moorish American citizen Sean Leon Dunn Bay in the Supreme Court of the State of New York, County of Kings, is hereby dismissed with prejudice. What? Notice how this thing keeps saying naturalized Moorish American citizen. You see why y'all get jammed up with this nationalization? They don't recognize you. Come on, man. Get it together. Get it together. I'm not going to go through all this. Boom. It is so ordered. That is real power, brother and sister, under the leadership of our national Grand Sheik, Joe Bratton Bay, the man you can't stand, the man y'all love to hate. If you would just bring your raggedy behind around the table, we could move like this with all Moorish entities. Then we could be compensated. We can be separated in a land, a territory of our own, and the United States Treasury would fund the move. But you don't want to come around the table because I might lose my following. I can't sell no more packets because this is how I'm sustaining. This is how I pay my rent, brother. This is how I feed myself. No, that ain't how you feed yourself. White folks feeding you. Anyway, let me get off of this and get into something else. Oh, hold on. I told you that statutory law does not apply to natural persons. I told you this. See what it says right there, American Law and Procedure, Volume 13, page 137. People are not persons. People are not persons. On the next page, you'll read legal definition of the word persons. As you will see, persons are defined as non-sovereigns. A sovereign is someone who is not subject to statutes, is not the revised statutes of your state. Is that not a statute? Are not the uniform commercial codes? Are they not statutes? Huh? What are you doing? A sovereign is someone who is not subject to statutes. A person is someone who voluntarily submits himself to statutes. So with you screaming to the whiteboard, you ain't got no jurisdiction, and you quoting all these statutory laws, now you wondering why you getting all this pushback. But if you would just follow our national grand sheik, Joel Bratton Bey, who resides in Baltimore, and just come up under the authority of Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the illustrious Hebrew prophet, child of the Warren Dispensation, number 1099, highest charter in the land, you wouldn't be having none of these problems. I know. All night. I could do this all night, but I'm not. I just wanted to get this out here for you. What else can I say to you? I think I done said pretty much everything I wanted to say. There's some more I could have said, but I think we're going to put a pin in it for right now. I think we did. No, we are not going to put a pin in it. Hold on. Because y'all keep picking on our national grant. So let me deal with you. Let me deal with you right here. Let me deal with you. The United States of America, U period, S period, A period, and Congress assembled, signed a bill on April the 12th, 1864 to establish a Bureau of Freedmen for the protection of the former slaves in the southern states' financial matters. This institution was created in the Treasury Department of the United States of America. Stop right there. Look at the date, April the 12th, 1864. Wasn't they debating in the Senate in March, just 30 days earlier, the Hebrew law? By compliance with the requirements of this law, they become citizens. The Hebrew law or the Levitical code. Huh? Think about it. Its purpose was to preserve the wealth of the former slaves and the black soldiers that fought in the war to preserve this land. There were other benefits to the former slaves for this bill, which include the ability to deposit money into an account which was monitored by the newly incorporated Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company, approved March the 3rd, 1865. You mean at the conclusion of the Civil War? Wow. We ain't gonna read the whole thing, but we're gonna jump down to some stuff. Hello, Moors in these different Moorish paradigms. Hello. Pay attention. This is gonna get real sticky. See, I usually don't go past page 2. I'm gonna go all the way down here now. Look what this says. I want you to think about what is being said to you. This is in what year? 1864. Come on, let's go back up here. 1864, April. Now let's come back down here. Okay. Come on. I really need you. I need you to get what is happening here. An act to enlarge the powers of the Freedmen Bureau was written on January 25th, 1866 as follows. An act to establish a bureau for the relief of freedmen and refugees, approved March the 3rd, 1865. Again, conclusion of the Civil War, shall continue in force until otherwise provided by law, and shall extend to refugees and freedmen in all parts of the United States. And the president may divide a section of the country containing such refugees and freedmen into districts. You mean being separate in a land or territory of our own due to the policy of freedom? Those proclamations of President Abraham Lincoln, substantiated by the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections, made a permanent part of the free national constitution, November the 18th, 1865. You mean that? This includes the northern states as well as the South in an effort to uplift fallen humanity. Well, wow. Where have we heard that before? Oh, that was in A Plea to the Nation by Prophet Noble Drew Ali, but this was prior to him even being born. Uh-oh. House Resolution 613, Section 2. And be it enacted that the supervision and care of said bureau shall extend to all loyal refugees and freedmen, so far as the same shall be necessary to enable them as speedily as practically to become self-supporting citizens of the United States and to aid them in making the freedom conferred by proclamation of the commander-in-chief. Would that not be Abraham Lincoln? Would the proclamation be the proclamations of Abraham Lincoln, starting with the initial Emancipation Proclamation, September 22nd, 1862? Would that be it? Ah. By emancipation under the laws of the states and by constitutional amendment. Would that be the 13th Amendment with its 20 sections? Ratified November 18th, 1865 by 3/4 of the several states? Available to them and beneficial to the republic, not the democracy, to the republic. Article 4, Section 4 of the Free National Constitution. All states shall be governed by a republican form of government, to the republic, to the Union Republic. This is the reattachment. This is the reattachment. This is the reattachment of the people in recognition of the family of nations. There is but one issue for them, and that is for them to be recognized, have recognition, and that comes only through the divine and national movement, which is incorporated in this government. Mm-hmm. 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 Oh my God. Look down here in the small print. Here's a copy of the agreement to return the property to the Aboriginal owners. You know, the native, the original owners. Although it does not specifically identify the Aboriginal owners, there are many documents that will identify the owners of the property. Hold the phone right there. Let's see if we can bring some documents that will identify the original owners of the property. Well, we could go here. If we would agree to take the feathers and turbans off the Moors' heads and remove the sandals from their feet and enforce severe punishments and also to swear a death oath between ourselves to religiously and faithfully not to allow anyone to teach the Moorish children who they really were or who their forefathers were, and only allow the Moorish children to be taught that they were truly Negroes, black people, and colored folks 200 years from today, the Moorish people would not know their nationality or the national name of their forefathers. Also, they would not know from which land or ancestors they are descendant from. George Washington, President of the United States. Oh my God. What other documents could we show to prove who we are? This is to certify that we, the people, descendants of our Moorish noble forefathers and true sole possessors of the lands, these United States of America, also known as Northwest Africa, a maxim of the ancient and present Moroccan Empire, this Egypt of the West, in accordance with President Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, do hereby proclaim with our autographs hereto, this document that our nationality is Moorish American as redeemed by the Honorable Prophet Noble Drew Ali, by the guidance of our Father God Allah, and mandated to be implemented and enforced. Is this why y'all Moors don't want to come around the table and talk to our national grand sheik? That we, the people, have proclaimed our nationality and our divine creed, Islamism, Muslim, under the divine laws of the Holy Quran of Mecca. Oh, that would be the Quran revealed through Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, Muhammad ibn Abdullah of Mecca. That we, the people, proclaim our true race as we are a clean and pure nation referred to in the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Holy Quran of Mecca, and the Holy Bible, Angels, Asiatic White. That we, the people, honor all the divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius, and the last prophet in these days and times, the honorable prophet, Noble Drew Ali. That we, the people, have taken the solemn oath of amnesty and reconstruction of the Union Republic, 1863, and are citizens under the Constitutional Republic of the United States of America, inclusive with the 13th Amendment with 20 sections, the Moorish Science Temple of Divine and National Movement of North America Incorporated, number 13, the Moorish American National Republic, under the leadership of National Grand Sheikh Joel Braden Bey, which is within the present Moroccan Empire as constructed on the Pataliano map, okay, housed in the United States Library of Congress, and Chapter 47, Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Circle 7, as follows. Now, I did it that way so that when I go here, you understand this has all been verified by these people right here. See, that document is all together. So the United States State Department has verified who we are. In testimony whereof, I, Condoleezza Rice, Secretary of State, have hereunto caused the seal of the Department of State to be affixed and my name subscribed to the Assistant Authentication Officer of the said department and the city of Washington in the District of Columbia this 18th day of May 2006, Condoleezza Rice. I certified that the document hereunto annexed is under the seal of the Secretary of State of the States of Maryland, and such seal is are entitled to full faith and credit. 1, 2, 3. Really? Really? Really, people? What else you want me to say? Wait a minute. One more point. You said, wait a minute, you didn't read the whole act. I'm coming to it. Let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Okay. So you need something to help you with that, right? You need something to help you with that. So let me deal with it. Here we go. See that? Horace Butler. When Rocks Cry Out by Horace Butler. See what it says? The original unedited memoirs of the man who found the city of Christ in the mountains in South America. Oh my God. Let's see what's in this book. During the several hundred years following the Exodus, the African American armies called Hebrews, there's that word again, called Hebrews, overwhelmed the armies and cities of Egypt. The Hebrews' unrelentless desire to kill off the Egyptian nation forced the pharaohs, chapter 47, to reestablish their throne, which was established in the Americas, North America. The throne was established in the Yucatan Peninsula, which is today Mexico, okay? To escape the deadly threat in the Americas, the remnant of the Egyptian Empire chose to reestablish their nation on the other side of Africa that was furthest from the Americas. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern, that would be the Americas today, shores of Africa. So this is telling us that a civil war broke out and the Hebrews decided the Pharaoh said, we're going to establish our throne on the other side of Africa, furthest from the Americas. So we're going to establish our stuff on the eastern side of Africa. They built a new Egypt, which means the old Egypt is over here. The new Egypt is over there. They built a new Egypt on the river now called Nile in northern Africa or northeast Africa. What y'all got to say? Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they must know that they are part and parcel of this said government, that which was mentioned before, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to the slaves by the slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Hopefully, now you know a little bit more about Act 6 than you did 4 hours ago. All right. So hopefully that made sense. Hopefully you got some enjoyment out of that. I know I did. So with that, brother and sister, I think I've said all that I want to say. I could have said some more, but enough is enough. I'm gonna chill out. Allah has blessed me to make 58 trips around the sun as of today. Today is my birthday, so I figured I would just go on and do a demonstration. We will be doing another demonstration here in about 48 hours or less. We're gonna do another one because we got an issue we got to deal with. We got more. Some of y'all done lost y'all mind. Oh no, we ain't gonna let it go. All right. But anyway, I'd like to greet you as the way we came, brother. Islam, 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 peace. Peace, peace. May Allah bless you with the light of understanding. Peace, peace, peace. All right. Let's get at it. And I will see you on the next one.